Welcome to the Fast Life Podcast and 2021. I'm glad you guys could join us today and check out another podcast from us here. Today's episode is with David Covington. He has been building bikes since the early 2000s and doing hot rod shit his whole damn life is pretty much what I gathered from this podcast. He is the son of Jerry Covington, and he's been alongside the Covingtons as one, building badass bikes for the last 20 years. So really stoked to have him on. Been wanting to do it for a while, and it took a year, but we made it happen. Also want to thank you guys for checking this out, like I said, and hopefully you guys are checking out our sponsors, like Simpson Motorcycle Helmets, which you can catch on Instagram at simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com. And you can also check out their website and check out all their badass products at simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com. Also, Lexin Moto, they have a new intercom system for you. The all-new G16 is a group rider's long-awaited answer to the affordable intercom system. With the 16-rider comm system, Bluetooth 5.0, and music sharing, it will keep your group connected while traveling together. This is another great product from the Lexin team geared at making motorcycle rides and travel more enjoyable. Check it out at lexin-moto.com, where you can apply the Fast Life offer code, which will save you 15%. And as always, you can rest assured that Lexin backs up all their products with the best customer service in the industry. Check them out. Thundermax has your EFI equipped Harley Davidson covered with their high quality auto tuning ECMs. I have been running their computers on my Road Glide for over 40,000 miles, and it continues to give me the optimal performance out of my engine. I paired it up with their oil cooler fan for the M8 touring models, which has kept my bike running strong and at a desirable temperature. You can check out all these products at shoptmax.com and use their offer code FASTLIFE for 10% off, and give these guys a follow at Thundermax EFI on Instagram. Electric Lighting Co. has your bike covered from headlight to tail light with a ton of LED lighting options for many different Harley Davidson models. All lighting is backed by great warranties and plug-and-play options, so you can't go wrong with making the switch or stepping up to Electric Lighting Co. NAM's Custom Cycle Products since 1999 has been offering American-made wiring products for all things V-twin, and Badlands for over 30 years has been offering the most reliable and dependable lighting modules in the USA, backed by a lifetime warranty. Find out more about these amazing companies at namscustomcycleproducts.com. And while you're there, you can drop in the FL2021 offer code, which gives you free shipping on orders over $100. So check them out. John Jessup's Team Dream Rides out of Stockton, California is a one-stop shop to have your motorcycle customized, maintained, repaired, and upgraded. With in-the-house dyno tuning, parts, and accessories, they got you covered. Also, check out their teamdreamrides.com online store to see the full array of products for your bike and you as a rider. And if you're short on cash, you can take advantage of the 100 days same as cash financing at teamdreamrides.com. All you need is a job and a bank account, and while you're at it, give John and the team a follow at DreamRidesJohn on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake has you covered literally with all the badass flakes, pearls you could ever want or need. Head on over to painthuffer.com and you can save yourself 10% by using FastLife26 offer code and see all the amazing products that are needed in the custom paint process. And last but not least, you can get some inspiration by checking out all the amazing paint work created with Paint Huffer products at Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram. Check them out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. Really excited to drop this episode with Dave. Great dude, awesome guy. We have a lot of fun every time I'm up there. We kind of talk about it a little bit in this podcast as we polish off a bottle of Jack Daniels. It was a great time. I always have fun up in Woodward, Oklahoma. This weekend actually is our anniversary party. Yeah, 6 years as the Fast Life Garage and 3 years of the Fast Life Podcast. So yeah, if you're going to be in the DFW area or around it, come on out to the shop. We're going to be partying from 3 to 9 p.m. this Saturday, and going to be terrorizing Deep Ellum, Texas on Friday night, which would be January 7th, I believe, or 8th. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. If you're in town, come on down. If not, you can just watch it on Instagram. It'll all be taking place there too. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Let's get right into this podcast with Dave from Covington Customs Cycles.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
Cool. We're rolling.
All right.
Good times. Man, I tried to do this with you the first time I came out here.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember if we got fucked up that time. Because I know the second time I was on your couch.
Time, maybe, yeah.
I
think the first time we were just busy.
Busy, yeah. We had the 2 bikes. And I think 7 days that we were trying to bang out 2 of them, Mm-hmm. But
it was right before Daytona.
Exactly. Well, it was actually right before Christmas, leading up for Daytona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
still busy.
That time when I came this summer, though, I don't know what it was. It's like I got here on the day I got here. We went out.
Yeah. It worked out.
Dude, it's crazy.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't.
That
was a good time, though.
Yeah, I think it was a Monday, too, or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Fucked up. Man, so, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we did the podcast with, Jerry and Kathleen last time, but I want to do one with you because, like I said, you do a lot of pretty much all the building these days, right? Yeah. And the fabrication and shit like that. And, man, I just, I want to see, like, what's it like for a guy like you, like growing up in such a vast business like this and then finding your way into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, grew up obviously around it since as long as I can remember. So I always knew that I was going to have something to do with it. It might have been cars mostly at first, but growing up, I was working on bikes when I was, 12, 14, like Harleys.
Yeah.
I never rode them then, obviously. I was into bicycles. But to buy parts for the bicycles, my dad would buy old shovel heads, and I would, sand the frames because they always rust where the batteries leaked on them or something. Clean those up, sand them, repaint them black, make it look nice, polish every piece of chrome on it. We'd put... Usually, change a wheel or put a different fender on it because, people mess them all up.
And that was at the time when he was, picking up bikes and kind of flipping them, basically?
Yeah, he would get one, kind of do it the way he liked it in the garage because they did hot rods and trucks. And then ride it a little bit, sell it, get another one, But they're always shovel heads back then, I think the Evos were out, but...
Everybody wanted shovel heads.
That's probably what you could afford back then to do on the side, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would. That's a good little hustle, though. Like I said, I have a problem doing that. I don't know how to sell shit. I know how to sell things that I don't own. You know what I mean? Like, I can hook you up with this helmet or this exhaust or whatever. But when I fix up my own shit, I don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it.
The thing on those then was to find it right.
Yeah.
Because people will ugly them up pretty easy and make them look like nothing. But all they would need was, 3 or 4 things and a shiny coat of black paint.
And they'll be out the door.
Get rid of the rusty bolts, put in some nice acorns back then, some button heads.
Acorns.
Yeah. Acorns.
Wasn't no 12 points back in the day.
We used to go down, I think it was Denver's.
Choppers, yeah.
Denver's, yeah. And there's another Harley place you go and buy they have the full... things of acorns right there on the counter. I remember when I was a kid. I thought they were cool. You want to put them on bicycles and stuff.
How long were you in Cali before how old were you when y'all moved back out here to Oklahoma?
I was 15.
15
when we moved back to Oklahoma from California.
Was that a culture shock for you?
Yeah. But it wasn't bad. I mean, the thing about like us, we're into cars, motorcycles. You get that everywhere. Yeah. So, and actually here, I think there's more gearheads here. I mean, there is in California. But here, every guy in high school.
It's you don't have a lot of dudes like doing TikTok dances and shit.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's a whole lot of, there's a lot more. I've always felt like that in the middle of the country, that there's a lot more people here in the Midwest and the South kind of that are just very talented and working on stuff. And we would always end up having to go to California to like get the opportunities because they might not be here, but the skill was here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because I know a lot of dudes, like a lot of famous painters and a lot of like guys in the mini truck scene would end up going to, like Charles Armstrong. They would go out to get those opportunities, but a lot of them were from here.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
So like the dude Ryan from Covington Customs, the painter there, he was from Temple, Texas. 60, 70 miles south of me, and then he moved to California, and then he ended up in Vegas doing stuff out there. But same thing, like when I first started getting to go to California, it was like there's a lot of people there and talent, but there's just always some bullshit going on. There's either drama or there's like pill poppers or there's fucking lazy people. You know what I mean? So it was always something. But made it easy for me because I just go out there and hustle up a lot of money and come back home. And, that chump change out there back here in Texas or in Oklahoma was like, you do some good shit with that. You can buy a house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for what it costs to own anything up there, run a business up there, you can come down here and triple the size of it probably.
Exactly. And I think with the bikes, though, I mean, like you guys have bikes coming into here from fucking all over the world.
Everywhere, yeah. Very little, like, from our own town.
Yeah, obviously. And that's one thing, like, when I was growing up in this thing, I always thought of my local market like that was it. Like, that's my boundary. Yeah. Like, how am I ever going to get
it? It would be.
For a while, it was, until the internet. I feel like that's what really opened up all the borders for me.
Well, yeah, and before the internet, you kind of had to go. Like us, when we started, you had to go to Daytona. You had to go to Easy Rider bike shows. You had to go to Sturgis.
Damn near everything, huh?
And, if you can't afford to set up, you basically ride around.
And you hustle it that way.
You park by people that do pay to set up. They still do that.
They still do that to you guys.
Still do that, yeah. But, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You
but
get in where you fit in.
So how was it with, you're 15. Were you said you were working on bicycles and shit back then. Like, that was what you were doing. But when did it start to, like, you start fucking with, like, welding and wanting to take it to a more serious?
Well, as far as getting serious on stuff, it's a lot later. But, I mean, I was welding there at 15. And we built go-karts and everything else, crazy bicycles, chopper bicycles. And
the low-rider
right there in the
bicycles
garage, yeah. We go to swap meet and buy Springer front ends and crush velvet to wrap the seats and stuff. But, no, as far as getting into, I think in high school, after we moved here, we started doing more and more customizing on bikes in the shop at home. And I would polish and, polish hard lines, help prep stuff. And I did also, after doing bicycles, I was the only one that laced wheels. So I laced wheels, did the twisted spokes and wheels like at 16, 17 and stuff.
I still don't know how to do that.
And true them and all that. No one else really did that, so I did that around here.
How many of your brothers were involved with everything here? Just
a little bit. My older brother, he always was involved because he was obviously older, so he worked for my dad back in California. And here he had a normal job, and then we have a shop next to the house. When I was a kid, and working there, so they polished legs and put wheels on, or whatever, do engine work. Service. There was no bike shop in town at that point. Yeah, there was none.
And your dad was working at a Ford dealership?
That's a long time ago.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
At this point, he always has his side hustle. He had in California, he had the custom trucks and hot rods.
Yeah.
When we moved here, he was still doing that on the side. But, to get rolling, he had to make some money. So he's hauling Greyhound racing dogs for a little while.
For real? I didn't even hear about that.
And doing the cars and doing the bikes, So then we were doing quite a bit of bike stuff, which, we were doing cars before with a little bit of bike stuff, and it kind of flipped about that time after we moved here, there was bike guys, that rode Harleys. All these oil field guys were buying Harleys from him. He was buying Harleys and selling them, customizing them, servicing them. There's, like I said, there's no bike shop.
Yeah.
Custom vehicles, not so much here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a big ticket.
Yeah. We did custom trucks, but it was mostly his, and he would sell them, whatever. But it just kind of started getting more and more busy to the point where the garage was full of motorcycles. The shop was half full of motorcycles. And then he opened up the first shop, legit motorcycle shop, not on the side.
Yeah.
Up the road here. That would have been 90. I was still in high school. So it would have been 94 or 5, I think 4. Because, I painted the sign and the wall after school. You know what I mean? I'd come in.
Yeah.
Put bolt-on RLNS parts, billet parts, and put wheels on. And
like for me, when I grew up in this kind of environment too, but not to this level. Like my whole family was working on cars, or trying to at least, painters, things like that, and I fucking hated being here because I was forced to work here as a kid.
Yeah, I had a little bit of that when we were at home. I'd be like, "Hey, you need some help?" Of course, I'm wanting to go hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And I need this done and this done. It's like, oh man, so I'd go do it. And I was like, I need anything else? Yeah, I need this. Like, oh man, then my friends would be outside in the car waiting.
Yeah,
let's go cruise. You know what I mean? So you're hurrying, but no, it was nice. Like in high school when they legit opened a shop, you go there and you get off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Work a couple hours a day after school. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, see, I had to. I was playing sports in high school, so when I would get out of practice and stuff, my dad wanted me to come sand fenders and strip cars with like aircraft stripper.
Oh yeah.
And like all my friends were gonna go play basketball or go do some shit, because they didn't have to go to work afterwards. Right. So I didn't. I don't know. I looked at like the business then kind of like it was just this dirty, gross business because like I said, in the late 90s when I was going to high school, dude, we were wearing Tommy Hilfiger, trying to look cool and preppy or wherever the fuck it was back then. And I wasn't trying to go get grease on my hands and shit. You know what I mean?
My thing, I wore Dickies even in high school. Up in California, you wear Dickies.
Yeah, everywhere.
And a T-shirt. I never changed, I guess. But, yeah, kind of in high school is kind of like that, I suppose. There's times you want to just...
Yeah, go fuck off.
Go play or whatever, but...
Yeah, I feel like...
But I was never into sports or anything, really.
Yeah.
So, not always cars. Even in school, I think in 6th or 7th grade in California, actually, they had a metal shop.
For real?
Which they would probably never do that now.
No.
Because, it was torches, and welding. Like, I was actually surprised. I made basketball hoops in there. And,
wow. Yeah, we had that in high school from like 9th on the way up, but not fucking 7th and 8th grade or 6th grade. But
it was either 5th or 6th grade because it's possible it was 7th. I can't remember. It was Fontana, California.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of scary because you hear some people turn on them acetylene welders and.
That shit still scares me. I still know how to run a torch.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, everybody duck, pow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't blame like my high school or anything. I'm not trying to say it was their fault, but I feel like I was never exposed to cool shit. Maybe that's my dad's fault or my family's fault. They never exposed me to the cool side of working on cars and shit like that. It was always like, because I've never gave a fuck about like restored original cars.
Right.
Like I get
early
it.
On I wasn't either.
Yeah. now I have an appreciation for it because I understand what goes into it. But to see a 1969 Mustang original, all right, man, cool. I grew up in the era of lowriders and dubs was just coming out and becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to see that shit. You know what I mean? So until... And I've said this a million times on the podcast. Until Fast and Furious came out, the first one, I didn't give 2 fucks about cars.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, that's cool. And then I'm like, oh shit, my dad works in a shop and I've been doing this forever. Maybe I should go to that shop and work on this stuff, but maybe it's going to get me closer to working on this type of stuff.
Right.
And that's how I started getting into the custom world, more or less.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember early on. I mean, my dad used to drag race. Used to customize cars, all that, and I built models starting at like 5. You know, so I'd be chopping the tops on them and stuff, not just the snap tights. You know what I mean?
Over here with a plastic welder, fucking.
Yeah, man. I'd get the little X-Acto knives hot, cut them.
Yeah, you can do that for sure.
Yeah, probably wasn't supposed to be.
Oh hell no.
That, and we always had a dirt bike usually. So.
Yeah, we had a weird one. Like my dad's side of the family were completely against motorcycles, but they were into old like not German. They were just into old European cars. So they collected a whole bunch of Jaguars, which were not worth anything for a long time. And then my mom's side of the family was all like Chevys. Everything was Chevy. El Caminos, fucking Monte Carlos, like everything. And I just never got into it, man. I never got into it until I was out of high school, and I wasn't forced to go back to the shop to work on things. And then I was actually working in an architectural office pursuing that kind of career. And then that movie came out. I was like, fuck, man, like I think I want to go back to the body shop, you know, because I could see it being completed and finished, you know, and it like was dope. Like, I'm going to sand this fender. Like I've done it my whole life, but all of a sudden now sanding this fender, I'm paying attention to it, and I get to see it shiny in a couple days or the next day or a couple hours. And so it gave me this like completed feeling of like, man, I just did that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I started actually doing projects, I guess you would say, of my first cars. 15, I got a 64 Impala. And I did the engine, the whole engine bay, fixed the rust, until I was 16 when I had to drive it, you know. And then it was still a project. I never finished that one. But
was it 2-door?
Yeah,
nice.
Super Sport, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was actually pretty cool. It's just I didn't know any better when I bought it, and it was a little rusty. So it was a lot of work. I ended up having a whole nother body to cut up, weld the floor pans in, and do a lot of repair. And it had no engine. It's like $750.
Shit, that thing right now is like $1,750.
Nah, well, once after I got it, I knew why it was $750. But you know, my dad did some swapping, like trade a rear end. There was like a big block Chevy and a bus down the road. I got to go take it out and clean it up. Went and got a job for a while and bought a rebuild kit. And
nice.
That whole thing.
That'd still be cool as hell to have one, regardless with the rust. Just like that car was so
cool
iconic.
Looking.
Yeah,
I had it lowered, put some Boyds on it.
Fuck yeah.
I had a big block 396 in it.
All my friends that are like hardcore in Impalas, they always talk shit to me because my favorite Impala is a 65, and everybody says that.
I almost bought a 65 before it.
Yeah. 2
of them, a rusted Super Sport, and a really nice body that was a standard. That's close.
Everybody's always like 64, 58 to 64 is the one you want. It's like the money ones.
Yeah, 64 used to be my favorite forever. Yeah. I'm really into the earlier 60s now.
For real. So like a
59's the best, but man, they're expensive.
Dude, but my buddy had I didn't understand how much Impalas went for until Andrew from Andrew's Custom Cycles out there. He's big into the Impala game. And so
talking about Rumley?
Rumley, yeah. So he has that. He's
always posting stuff I want.
Yeah, he had just got a 58 whenever I went out there to work with him. And we were out driving around. It was a drop top 58, like that kind of seafoam green or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but he told me how much he paid for that. And I was like, and then he had a Lambo too there that was the same price. And I was like,
you get original, like the original Impala guys aren't just restore original, like they actually use original parts.
Yeah.
Like they don't go get repop stuff.
Yeah.
Like the hardcore guys. It's they go all in.
But so yeah, the same thing. Like that one was like $110,000, I think is what he got that one for. And then he had a body, like a clean 64 body out there that was a roller, but it was just, there was no motor or anything like that, no interior. He got like 17 for that thing. He flipped it.
64?
Yeah.
He did good.
So, and then there was another dude that came to the shop one day that had a 64, It was like had 3 on the tree, so I didn't know how to drive that. So he let me go try to learn how to drive a tree manual, whatever. Didn't do too well, but
it's different.
It is different. But no, that shit is, man. I tried to go down that path of like the old school shit, trying to rebuild something. But man, I don't know if I'm so used to bikes and the completion time is so fast.
Yeah.
Compared to like the kind of like I don't think I have enough patience to sit through the process of building a car. Like the energy I get or the excitement I get of finishing a bike is what pushes me to finish the bike.
Yeah.
But if I got to sit on this car for a year until I can afford it or whatever the case may be, like I'm on to some new shit by that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely gotta have a little patience for a car.
Yeah.
Especially in the body and paint, which you know. I'm not a body and paint guy. I can do the body work and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do a car, and I'll tell myself not to ever again.
And then you'll forget.
And it's kind of like a tattoo. You forget what it feels like. You know what I mean? And you'll do another one 3 years later, and you're like, this is why I don't do this.
Exactly. Yeah. I do that every once in a while when I think I want to try to build a bike.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a builder. I'm just like a tinkerer, if you will. Like I'll make this customized a little bit. I'm an AutoZone customizer is what I like to look at. Like, but no, every time I would tackle on a big project for myself or something, it's because I forgot the tunnel vision I get when I go into that mode. And I'll work for a month and a half straight on my own shit, make no money, and just like deplete my bank account trying to finish it, going back and forth to get chrome bolts and finding this. And it's just it's a very bad place to be for me because I don't know how to work on 2 or 3 things at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have to be gone. Like last year when I was here the first time, we were doing all the construction at the shop, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this construction at the shop, but at 5 o'clock every night, I'm gonna stop working at the shop and go work on the shop. I'm gonna stop working at the shop on parts and go work on the shop. Yeah. I just couldn't do it because I'd come in there at 9 a.m. and I'd see that wall, and I'm like, I want to finish that right now.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do any work for like a month. So it's good. Like when I'm here, it's good because I can knock things out quick, but multiple projects at one time, I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
I'm all in at one time. I'm faithful.
It's tough, man, juggling things for sure. That's one of my biggest
usually
jobs.
Have like 4 or 5 bikes. Shit, way more than that. 10 bikes going together at once.
Yeah, you usually have at least 5 or 6 projects at once, and that's one of my things is keeping all of them moving.
Because one might be at paint, one might be getting the neck cut.
That's the whole thing of organizing. You have to have it like that, where one is going to paint, one is coming back from paint, one is getting finished in the fab shop, and one is getting delivered and paid for.
Well, it also maximizes the amount of time that everybody here has something to do. Yeah, so you're not twirling your thumbs waiting on Bondo to dry or paint to dry, as they say.
Yeah, you have to have everything rolling, like the parts coming and going out, because you want to keep the cash flow coming. People getting their stuff. You don't want anything sitting forever. Is the biggest thing. Yeah, nobody likes their stuff to sit.
Exactly.
So
when you how long before you finally decided to work here full time or dive into this?
That would have been 2000 or 2001. I graduated in 96. I moved to Oklahoma City with one of my friends. Screw around, I guess you would say. I worked at a car dealership, making nothing, just hanging out. I had a lot of friends living up there.
Yeah.
It sucked being broke, and I got a job actually here as a mechanic at the Toyota GMC place back then. And that sucked. I mean, it was better money, but they gave me the worst jobs.
Yeah.
Because I was a new kid, basically. I was 18. And it didn't last too long because I could come here down the road and build truck chassis or,
whatever.
do any of that. And anyway, so I come back. I worked a couple other jobs and just kind of messed around for a couple of years, I guess you would say, being a dumb kid. And then I moved to the city again for a little bit. And I was going back and forth, actually. I'd go there, I'd come here for a couple days, work on like some custom trucks that my dad would have.
Yeah.
Doing the 4-link or putting independent front suspension or something in, which was better work than I was doing anywhere else, you know. And that's when the choppers started really growing. Like, he had been building some. I helped here and there on custom bikes and servicing, detailing. I did a lot of detailing when I was younger, you know. All that standard stuff that people do, getting going. But I started fabricating more, seeing how they did the fenders and mount the tanks and, you know, all of it. And I did help do the first couple that I helped with, kind of got me going, you know. I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. And it's like, I really think we could do more of them.
Yeah.
Like, be way more efficient and do more of them. And because it was my dad doing most of it. He had a couple people helping. But I just saw potential in it. It's the first time I ever got excited, I guess you'd say, about what something could be. Never did before. And I was like, we could do way more of these in a year. You know, I think we could do
like
3 times as many.
Was it like 01 or something like that?
Yeah, I would guess that. It was somewhere around it. Because I know I was in the city 2000 when it turned 2000 and the world did not blow up.
Yeah, I remember Y2K.
Yeah. So, because I was downtown Oklahoma City, I remember that.
I remember
waiting
exactly
for everything
where I was.
to blow up.
I was in Shreveport.
Yeah.
In Bossier City or whatever, at my daughter's mom. I was with her in a hotel room because her parents gambled all the time, and we just went there and chilled in the hotel room and watched the ball drop. And yeah, it was weird. Sorry. Just took me back. I'm going back there for the first time. I've been through there a million times, but we're doing a big polar ride is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Where everybody's just basically on February 6th, we're all going to ride there regardless of what the weather is, whether it's raining, snowing, fucking 8 degrees outside. It's just like all these Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. We're just going to go take over that city and party. But yeah, I mean, I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, me and a couple friends were down there in Oklahoma City, and so it had to have been 01. I'm guessing 2000, late 2000, 2001, that come back and decided I think I could do something here, you know, do something with this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was capable of doing things and helped all the time with hot rods, cars.
Do you think it's like
forever?
The first time that you had an idea that you could like bring something to the table in a sense?
Yeah. As far as I did. I actually got excited and definitely knew that could keep that.
Yeah.
Could make it better. Could do more. That it was cool. You know, all that. And I had gone to, I think, Daytona already. I've been there. Thought that was kind of neat. You know, I rode cool bikes. Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's just. I wasn't even exactly at that point. I wouldn't say I'm coming up with ideas to do like cool stuff. Yeah. It's just we were already doing cool stuff, and I was thinking I could help make the business better. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the first time I ever thought anything like that.
How old were you around this time?
I would say around 20, 21.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I'm pretty sure. Something like that.
Yeah, because, man, like I said, I think that would actually be going to Daytona and not just because I'm trying to find a way to skate around this, but like, having my brother around for so long and him getting to go to Sturgis and all these things, I was kind of hoping it would click and he'd be like, fuck, man, like this is cool. And it just never quite did. You know what I mean? So, because I was really hoping that he would at some point get that kind of bug in his ear that light bulb would go off and go like, I want to take this part over. I want to make this better. I see how I can make it better. Or I can make it more efficient or whatever. And it just kind of never happened, you know?
Yeah. No, I figured out after about a year of actually working on the choppers and fabricating and learning that this could be better easily, you know. So,
well, at that time too, there was a lot of shit going on in the chopper world. It was kind of
it was
things were evolving very quickly at that time. So you had to, I don't know if you had to, but it felt like you would want to be pretty innovative pretty quickly. You know?
And I really didn't when you get started. I didn't really know any of the other people doing it. You know, other than what I've seen in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't follow it or anything.
Yeah, the only way you can follow is through magazines or going to Daytona. Or
yeah, and at that time, you know, I didn't really sit there and thumb through it and study just what I've seen and the business that my dad had. And, you know, you start paying attention, of course. You go to places, you go to shows, you see other people's stuff, and you think, good idea or whatever, or I can do that or do that better. You know what I mean? Just get ideas constantly. And then it gets to where you're building one and you're thinking about the next one already. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know what you mean on that.
Yeah,
one.
Snowballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keeps on going.
That's the other hard part. Someone told me this a long time ago when I was doing lowrider paint jobs. He said, "Don't use all your tricks on one car."
Right.
And so that's something I think about too. Like maybe when you have to build so many bikes that you don't want to put everything into one bike, so then you're kind of worn thin on the other
you
ones.
go on and on and on and on, and you can overwhelm something. You know, you want a couple really cool key things on a bike, but you don't want to overdo it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It spread it out too. I mean, when you're building so many bikes and then that era when you guys were basically, you know, building your own, you know, manufactured bikes as well, like that had to be wild, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to keep up with that demand. So
Yeah, and there was a point where we had some, you know, a pretty decent amount of people here.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool, also kind of not sometimes. You know, it's like I always had one person that just seemed like they hung around. You know what I mean? Learning. So if somebody moved or something, you had a backup that was hopefully learning something.
You had someone coming up from the minor league. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But we were talking about, me and your dad were talking about that last night, about how he said that y'all used to call it the boys club here because there was always so many people hanging out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, me and my brother painted. We were young.
Yeah.
So it was all our friends.
Oh,
you know what I mean? We were hiring our friends basically. Like we know somebody that was into the same stuff kind of we were or liked it, and one of them can weld. It's like, hey, you want to come work? Yeah, you figure it out. You know what I mean? And a few of them were really good. You know, and you get some that you just gotta fit them in where they can. Like we had a friend who was a really good mechanic. He helped do assembly and do like production bikes and help assemble. And we had one who's a really good fabricator. Me and him did a lot of fabricating up front, build pipes, handlebars, you know, whatever. You know, you just get people in, you figure out what they're good at. You know, body shop, you know, they're good at.
You get the guys, the pizza guy.
I mean, you never know. Yeah, you always got the one you send to Sonic, get everybody a drink. You know what I mean? Take out trash, whatnot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was that guy once.
Well, there's some people, you know, that's
all they ever can do.
Unfortunately, that's what they're good at.
Yeah, trying to get this go. So the whole time I'm here, I'm trying to do like little short GoPro clips of everything, just to, I don't know, try to put a little video together, but I fucking never know how to use these things. It's not working.
I have never once messed with a GoPro. I've always wanted to, I never have.
It you know, especially like something you're doing, right? Like you see it, like when you're sitting there welding something or creating something, you're like, man, like it would be cool to show the world this piece of metal that turned into this.
Yeah, I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Never do it though.
Dude.
I will say though, when those chopper days were going, I had my old camera before the phones.
Yeah.
I have my camera. I have a pretty big photo album with a lot of pictures of building choppers. I probably even looked at it in 10 years.
For real?
Yeah.
I still have that. I still got like 2 or 3 of those. Like the photo albums, like you're saying, that we would use to, like, I'd come by the shop one day and be like, "Hey guys, you looking for a painter? Here's my work," and I'd have all these flip through photos and shit. I still have those.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, that
they ain't saved on no files nowhere.
I know that's what sucks, because sometimes I want to go through there for a good Throwback Thursday picture or some shit and like scan it in and shit, trying to.
I think I found some pictures not too long ago, and I actually took a picture of the picture.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I did that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that no, when you're like today, or when I got here yesterday, I pulled the GoPro out and I was trying to kind of like show the bike before the sketch, the setup over there that I got set up to start doing the graphics and shit, and then just kind of document it all and show it going through. But like you get so wrapped up in working that you don't think to pull the camera out and show this part. And next thing you know, you haven't showed any of the progression for like 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, well, fuck, man, like they're not gonna know what's going on now. It's a weird one, man.
Yeah, we were actually talking about, I still haven't really done much. We were talking about the other day, me and one of the guys here, Terry, about doing video and YouTube of installing parts. And
oh yeah.
You get some people, man, really they shouldn't be working on their bike, but they call and ask questions.
Yep.
We need videos for those guys.
No, I know what you mean, because you guys have so many manufactured parts here.
Yeah.
And when you need to be able to send it out and show people how to put them on, and not just like
Not only that, it'd be cool to do them of the bike's finished running, show them off a little so they can see them.
I can tell you this though, if it's a lot of work to figure out how to put the videos together. It's not impossible though.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know there's gonna be editing, all that, and you're always so busy. It's like one more thing.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. With it now, that's what it feels like. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try to start showing the video of everything, but then it's like, once you get used to capturing everything video wise, then you got to get used to actually putting the video together, and that's where it gets a little fucking hard to do.
Yeah, I could see that.
But they say like a time lapse is good to show passing of time. So, it's like you don't get the best video quality out of it. Is this still got some in it?
Yeah. You
don't get the best video quality out of it, but you can actually, just show people that what you're doing without it being a boring 5-minute clip. That 5-minute clip turns into 20 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever,
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I sit there and at my shop, man, I got a TV above my work table, and while I'm laying out graphics or airbrushing or whatever, I'm just watching videos, like trying to learn this shit, because realistically, as crazy as it sounds, I would be more stoked about coming here to video that shit for you guys than doing paint jobs.
Yeah.
And that's weird, dude. I feel like I'm cheating on everything I wanted in life. 15 years ago when I started painting, I was like, fuck, man, one day I'm going to be in a magazine, and one day I'm going to be painting for these guys or you guys or blah, blah, blah. And now it happens, and it's like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's those times. I still love what I do, luckily.
That's the problem, is I do love it. It's like
it gets it.
The way I like to, the way I see it is like this. I was thinking about it the other day. It's like if you've been married for 30 years and you really love your wife. You're just not into her right now. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to leave her, but man, that over there looks fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And so I try to find ways to make it fun and exciting. It's just like,
there are parts, I guess, of what I do. When you go from taking care of the rotation to actually doing the fabrication to doing the assembly and all that, there is parts like I like doing metal work.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in fabrication.
Yeah.
I can go home in my garage and fabricate and have a good old time all by myself.
Yeah.
Turn on the music, sit there and work. Like, to me, that's nice alone time.
Does it not feel like, so is that one of your favorite ones? Does like having everything ready to go back together? Does that feel good to see it go back together as much, or?
To me, assembly is more stressful than building,
For real? Yeah.
than the fabricating, because you can't mess up. You don't want to scratch nothing.
Yeah.
There's wiring, which
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I do it fine. But I would just rather be hammering on metal
Just making
and
dents
welding. You know what I mean?
and bending shit.
Yeah. That's more. I don't know. I enjoy that more. I mean, when it's all done, I like it, and I like putting those pieces together that I make.
Yeah.
But the metal works where I would rather be.
I'm trying to think of what part that I enjoy the most out of doing a paint job. I feel like, to me, doing like laying out the design is like a lot of anxiety. It's like you're worried, because you don't know how it's gonna look yet.
Yeah.
Once I see something come together, that's kind of like you hit over the hill and everything's like a downhill ski slope at that point. And then I enjoy the whole process from there on out. But getting over that hump is like, of laying out the graphics or shooting a color or two and peeling the tape off and go, that looks dope together. And then you start feeling confident about it. But sometimes, like when you pull the tape back and the color's not exactly right, or it's the color you wanted, but you don't know how it feels, how you feel with it, that other color, and you're like trying to force yourself through the paint job to find some coolness to it because you can't turn around at this point.
Yeah.
Like that shit gets
that, and you probably judge yourself a little more harsh than
for sure. But
whoever, someone else can come out. Oh, that's badass, and you're
exactly. So, but
you're like, I don't really like it.
That's what I found that like separates a lot of people, and what you do, what I do, what a lot of people do is like the fact that we are hard on ourselves with what we do. If we always thought like, somebody will like it, then our work would never reach the levels that we push it to reach because we want to like it.
Maybe that's why I like the metal part. If I don't like it, I can cut it off.
You have the ability to erase. Let's start over. So when did you start making tanks and shit like that?
So I started, really, I think the first time I started TIGGing, which is when I guess I would say I started doing metal work. I mean, I MIG welded before that and stuff, but you're just sticking two pieces together when you're starting out. So that would probably been, a year or so after I started working full-time building motorcycles. It didn't take long, as far as shaping metal, that was a few years. Yeah. Because I never been around it. There wasn't even nothing on TV yet.
Yeah.
You didn't see
Monster
all
Garage and shit like that.
Yeah, all that, and the biker build-offs and all that. You didn't see a whole lot of that.
Even if you go look at like those old Wolfgang books they'd sell at like Barnes and Nobles, they'd be shaping things, but it wasn't like a motorcycle part, so you didn't have you didn't get inspired to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, early on we chopped stuff. Like you would chop a Sportster tank. Yeah. And bend a piece of metal and extend it. And that's cool. Yeah.
But Bondo can fix a lot of that.
But it's not really making your own. You know what I mean? But I would say that would be the extent early on. What we would do, or what I would do, is something like that, which was cool. There's people popular on TV doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Building pipes, you're connecting bends. And that was cool. But the hard part about all that is smoothing it, making it look fluid.
Like one piece.
And then, of course, with the early customs, you didn't show the welds back then. Now, it's pretty popular with the stainless stuff. But then you weld it perfect enough where you could DA it out, smooth it, like there was never a weld there, and then chrome plate it. That took a while. It took a little while to get good at that.
Would you have to kind of go back over it sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes, you got a little pinhole or a little divot, and you'd have to put a little on top or silicone bronze it, smooth it back out until it looks really nice, and then Scotch Brite it, and you send it to the chromer, and it comes back, looks like one big pipe, and you succeeded.
Those ever break anything?
No, I had a lot of good luck, man. I don't think I had
I never really remember a lot of those kind of chrome pipes ever breaking. But for some reason, like
steel, man,
it was steel. That's must be
16 gauge. We always use 16 gauge J bends, and you know, buy nice quality steel.
Yeah.
I mean, there was thinner steel. I remember pipes breaking, but it was always super thin. You know?
Yeah.
I won't name the names of any of the places, but the only stuff I saw crack was really thin pipes. You use 16 gauge steel. I don't think I've ever seen it, unless, you know, of course, you wrapped it, you never tune it, whatever, and it gets so hot it's red and then it cracks.
Yeah.
And anything will break at that point.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was. I think the only thing I've ever like fabricated on a bike. You know how like remember when Yaffe was the only one that made a stretch tank for a long time?
Yeah, them and you know Fat Cats. Independent. Like, and then there was like 2 places that wasn't on eBay.
Exactly.
Call and order a tank. Yeah.
So then when the eBay shit happened, and you could get those stretched 6-gallon tanks for like $250, $300, we would take them, and then we would I would just cut out pieces of metal. So that, you know, because they had that round corner that always looked like dick when it would like connect to the side covers and shit.
Yeah.
So I'd just take some big ass metal and then I'd cut it and fit little triangles on it and then tack it up. I didn't weld it. I just tacked it.
Yeah.
And then bondoed it all together, made it nice and pretty. Made my own stretch tanks.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Early on, we would buy a lot of the aluminum form tanks or handmade tanks. And
yeah.
I remember we were doing nice bikes, you know, buying some nice quality stuff. We'd build a lot of stuff, like get fenders, you know, trim them, put in the rails, the struts, and TIG them. You know, everything would be real nice, and we'd make a lot of stuff, but it wasn't, like, formed a lot. I remember talking with my dad, I was like, we got to get somebody in here that's good with steel, like, real good, like.
Shaping it, yeah.
Shaping, we need to get some tools in here and step it up another notch, you know what I mean?
Especially if you get someone like that in there, you could, and if you're, like I'm assuming you were, you'd be like a sponge to that shit. Just watching them do it.
It's like, I mean, I would have done it if I could, but.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of YouTubing and
you had to
you
be in
couldn't
a shop.
just, I mean, I didn't even think I had a cell phone then, to be honest. I'm just like, we got to learn this stuff. You know what I mean? I don't even know where there's a school for it. But we hired somebody. I think Derek might have been who we hired. He was straight out of one of the tech schools, and he was a little rough around the edges. He just got out of school, but he knew how to use the tools, and we bought the tools. And I remember because his welding was a little rough, but he could shape some metal.
Yeah,
and he would work hard. So he would make the shapes, and then I would have me or another kid that worked here is really good at welding and finishing. We did the pipes and stuff usually, you know.
Yeah.
Take what he made, he would tack them, and we'd go through and finesse the edges and weld them up nice, you know. So that's what we started stepping up more, making our own gas tanks, and we all kind of would learn off each other. You know, like I said, wasn't none of us like 25.
That's kind of cool. That'd probably be the bet. That'd be like an awesome time to kind of learn that shit with just a whole lot of homies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we all had a good time doing. We get off work. A lot of time we all hang out again.
Yeah, or just stayed here.
Not usually.
Not usually.
But you know, you work hard during the day, and
I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot done. We put out a lot of motorcycles. I mean, there was always minimum 6 bikes going on.
Damn.
I mean, I've had a bike to build since 2000. I have not been without something to build here. So
I can imagine like just the skill level that you've acquired now from doing all these, and with the bikes changing as well, and you've got so much experience working on every new bike. Like I remember last year or earlier this year, you're telling me all this shit about the 2020 models because you've already chopped like 8 or 9 of them at this point. And so it's like it's pretty insightful to have so much hands-on experience with it. Probably more than some dealers. That probably might be hard to say because dealers are always dealing with them. But just in general, just like you're dealing with all the products that trying to get the thundermax to work with it or blah 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 or this or whatever the case would be. Yeah,
you gotta get the new one, especially when you make products. You gotta make sure they're gonna fit.
Yeah.
And plus, we've always been real big about getting brand new bikes. So you ain't really saving nothing buying a year or two old bike unless you're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Because you end up with something someone else has worked on, and who knows what they did with it, you know.
Yeah, and that's what y'all would do basically for every Daytona Sturgis. You go buy like 5 new bikes or something like that.
Yeah, here lately we tend to go buy a minimum four new bikes, but if you got a customer or 2 wanting bikes, you can buy more.
Yeah.
So I think we've had probably, I'm going to guess we've bought 9 or 10 2020s Road Glides.
And y'all were worried for like originally when the pandemic hit, you're worried about getting bikes.
Yeah, we were.
How is it now? Like, you've been able to get them still?
Yeah, the dealers are having to find them. They don't have them.
Yeah.
So I think they're trading and finding them, kind of like car dealers do. So
That's wild.
But
hopefully, man, I think Harley just recently announced I think it's February or January 21st. I think they're dropping all the new models.
yeah, because I've already got a few guys wanting to build a bike, and they're just holding out for the 21s to come out because they want to go ahead and get the 21s.
That makes sense.
Which I've already kind of heard is nothing going to be changed, which surprised me zero.
It'll probably
with
just
all
be,
this stuff going on. You know.
It'll probably just be like some color changes, shit like that.
Yeah.
If that. But I think that I think 2023 is when the new frame is coming out, from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah?
A new monoshock frame for the baggers.
That don't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when 14 came, everybody was crying the blues. How Harley messed up, changed too much stuff.
On the Road Glides?
On all the baggers.
Oh, man, that was
Everything they did was better.
Exactly.
I remember everybody's mad. It was mostly because, you know, their parts didn't work no more.
Exactly.
But
I loved it, man. I thought
bodies are better. The
yeah.
wiring's better. Everything's better.
It was a step closer to better technology is what it was.
Man, them old fairings and stuff.
Dude, they never fit for shit, dude.
Man, squeak.
The rubber, like
they were held together with wood screws.
Exactly.
You know, and then they were mad about the new stuff. It's like, and they fit nice.
Exactly. You never have to worry about them fitting.
The bags were better. Everything was better.
It's weird. What people just like to bitch, man.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do.
I mean, you know, naturally you have to figure things out, but I remember the CAN bus system caused a few problems here and there. That was about it on our first couple builds, just because we had to
figure that shit
People
out.
didn't make stuff like for blinkers or whatnot to work. You know, you're
trying to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing big. I mean,
I'm still not very versed in it. Like, I don't know it very well. I understand what it does differently than the old wiring system, but, you know, when you think about multiple functions going through one wire, it just like you start thinking of like complicated math is what I feel like I'm supposed to be thinking there. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, and most of it's actually simpler once you know what you got to do.
For real.
Yeah.
I do like the fact, like I said, wiring handlebars are so much easier. You don't even really have to deep in them anymore.
No.
You just fucking
that's easier too. Yeah. I don't know what people are upset about. They're a wire mess in the fairings.
Dude, back in the day when you had to put a set of Yaffe monkey bars on a bike and you had those 2 meat hooks, the top and the bottom, and you're running the old Road Glides
16
wires to that motherfucker. Dude, it was like there was a time where I couldn't get it once, and we were going to.
I think I gave up on a set once.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say, but I was putting a set of monkey bars on this dude's bike, and he was going to go to Galveston. We were all going to Galveston, and it was like time to leave, and it still couldn't get the fucking wires through. So I ran his fucking, and it was only the right handlebar. I ran his throttle by wire through there. And then I've left the other wires on the outside. Just said, bring it back after the rally, dude. I can't.
I had like one set that I swear I worked on it all day.
Yeah.
Tried every trick I knew, and it just kept getting stuck. And
did you ever play with the Vaseline trying to go through there and shit?
I did not use Vaseline. About everything else, but I did not use Vaseline.
I did Vaseline once.
But that
was a mess.
I think I sent them bars back. I was like, there's something wrong in here. There's like a razor blade or something in there. I don't know. I couldn't get it to go. It was terrible.
There was one point in time where I actually, on the bottom side of the bar, I drilled a hole just so I can get a hook in there to try to get it to work. And, dude, it was a nightmare when that shit was like that.
It was too many wires.
Yeah, it was, and then the bars were like 1.5 inches or inch and 3/4.
I mean, I probably still put a dozen of them on, but I did have one set, man, that I gave up.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
I took it all back out.
Yeah, people used to come to our shop because at that time we were doing a lot of selling stuff and things like that. And they would always come to our shop and say, like, Harley's crazy. They want $1,100 just for labor in this. I'm like, yeah, man, that shit ain't easy. So
then do it for that much with the new ones.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're talking about, like back in 2012, 13, like when everybody was getting onto the shit. It was a mess, man, back then. But you remember when the Road Glides like went away and everybody was like freaking out?
Oh, the 1 year?
Yeah, just to kind of remake them or whatever.
Yeah, I remember because I built one. I got a 14 Street Glide and turned it into a Road Glide.
Wasn't that the blue bike? Overkill, yeah.
Yeah, I got the nasty inner, got the 13 outer, and made the 14 Street Glide stereo fit in it and everything.
Innovation, man.
Yeah.
How was it in the early days, like with the chopper shit? Because I remember like when y'all were doing the biker build off, and what was it like for you, like your perspective from being here at the shop with all that craziness going on in this industry?
It was cool, man, just to be a part of it,
Yeah.
And especially, like I said, we were all kids mostly. So, and at that time, I had really come a long ways from just helping build them. You know what I mean? I was pretty much fully shop manager, like managing every build and helping come up with the designs with all of them, designing billet parts. And at that time, we even had started the machine shop. And at that time, we didn't really do many production parts. We had a few production parts. It was mostly just to build parts for the customs. So it was cool because like that Discovery bike, I designed the wheels, like the primary, the pipe. It was actually the gas tank and chassis the guy I was talking about hiring to move forward with sheet metal. Yeah. I kind of laid out a tank and he shaped that, and we had the frame, which we was trying something new. We did a super short bike. It's a -2 on height, kind of long, had a rake, how they were back then, instead of a big giant chopper.
Yeah.
And did that tank, and we just kind of took it, I think, to Daytona or Laughlin or something. Just had the chassis with an engine and some wheels and the tank sitting on it. Everybody thought it was like super cool,
Yeah.
And is that cool? People are liking it, And then the biker build off come along, and of course we were thinking of doing a chopper, and they're like, you should do something different. Everybody's doing a chopper or whatever. And it's like, there it is right there,
Yeah.
We'll just do one of these.
And it was kind of like a long and low kind of vibe, right?
Yeah. It was like 2 inches stretched under the seat area rather than all forward.
Yeah.
And then dropped seat and dropped neck. It was like -2 instead of up.
How did those things ride?
Well, we put too much rake in them usually. They would ride fine, but, the fat tire and the rake, which at the time, that's all I rode, so I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't ride stock bikes. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything I rode had a Patrick Racing billet engine and fat tire and rake. So to me,
it all felt. That's what I would always say whenever I was riding the big wheels. Like it never bothered me riding it because I was riding them the way that you ride those bikes.
Yeah, I mean,
and trust me, like when you're riding, like when I was sitting on that Lucifer bike y'all got, I was like, this is wild feeling. But there's no way, even now with it being this day and age, like if I was riding that down Sturgis, I would feel cool as fuck.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, when that was new, I was pretty young.
Yeah.
And I would have took that anywhere. I rode it in Vegas and wherever. I would ride it. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, when we did the biker build off, we all rode choppers and stuff. We were all, like I said, we were kids anyway. We were riding rigids and there's a kid. We had a kid working for us. Like, I'm gonna guess he was 16, and he rode one of those with 20-inch ape hangers. I think he was using the handlebars to push himself down because he's bouncing because it's rigid. But yeah, I mean, we rode Harleys before that or whatever, Fat Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
But once you ride those for so long, you really, I guess you don't know the difference.
Man, it's a weird feeling too, because like, I don't hear people talk about this a lot, but when you ride a bike that's custom, there's some kind of feeling you get, like when you stop at lights or when you're in the gas station, like, and it's like so much attention. Like I'm not like a guy that wants to dress in a certain way to be attention and get attention or like whatever. But when you're on a bike and everybody's just giving you a thumbs up, it's just like, fuck yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't really get that when you're running like like performance baggers. We don't get that when we do that. You know, like my buddy Big Will Cody, we used to fuck with him so much because he would have a 30-inch Street Glide riding around with us, and we'd all be on dynas and shit. And it was funny because like we knew that he wanted to be on a dyna with us, but every time we went to the gas station, it was a fucking photo shoot with everybody coming in and out of the goddamn gas station. And so it was like at that one point he was like, fuck yeah, I got the bike. It's me now, you know. But no, he pushed it, dude. That's what I'm saying. Everybody that would talk about like you couldn't ride these bikes, it's like you can ride every bike. Yeah. Every bike is rideable. Yeah. You know, just because I can't do what you do on your bike doesn't mean that this bike isn't designed to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the one thing that weirds me out when everybody has these conversations about what you should or could be able to do.
Yeah, you might have to ride it different, but all of them you can float the valves and do burnouts and stuff on.
Man, yeah, but so when you did the biker build off, like that, y'all were in New York riding around. I think you were telling me about that shit. Like, how was that just riding? Because y'all had to actually ride these bikes to these different places.
Yeah. We had, I can't remember where all we rode. It's been a long time. It was like 04?
Yeah.
05? But yeah, one of the places was New York, and it was raining good. And I was on a probably 10-foot long chopper. And they didn't really care too much if you were on a motorcycle or not in New York on the interstate with it raining.
Yeah, they're like, fuck
people, if you had enough room for a car to fit in between you and the guy in front of you, they're going to get in there.
Yeah.
But I think it turned in where half the guys were kicking them, kicking cars. And
Who were y'all going against again?
It was Warren Vesley Scooter Shooters, and he had his whole crew, and we had our whole crew. So it was...
Goddamn fucking...
It was a lot of fat, tired choppers at that time.
Yeah.
And then we had trucks and everything else behind us. And then the recording crew. Mm-hmm. It was quite a fleet. It
would be so fucking dope if they did that again, but actually pushed that part, because that's one thing I've heard is that...
A lot of bike shows got to where it was stupid, I thought. I mean, the biker build-offs were even getting that way a little bit. When they first started, they were kind of cool because it was half about who was building the bike and half about building bikes.
Yeah.
And slowly it turned into more the character, less of the building. Mm-hmm. And what sucks, like they have really cool car shows now, building cars, that they actually show a lot of cool...
Yeah, actual parts of it.
Yeah, they're building the cars, but they couldn't do that with bikes. I don't know what their problem was. They turned it into a competition.
That's what's weird, like Motor Trend TV.
Goofy stuff, you know?
Yeah, like fucking putting fish tanks in cars and shit.
Yeah.
So like with Motor Trend TV, they have a fucking TV show or TV channel now full of automotive related things, and they still can't. It's like even the people that do bike stuff on there, it's like they also do cars. They can't just be a bike thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's tough.
Like you see, Martin Brothers.
It's tough to only do when you're gearhead. You're gearhead. You like cars, you know. Yeah, I did notice Martin Brothers. I actually like that show. I like those guys.
Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah. But it's like one day it's like he focuses on the cars more, but I guess that's where the
it does seem like that as far as the TV goes. And
same thing with
there's got to be more car people than bikes. You got sure. I don't know. You would think that, but I don't know. I would think that. It's just a lot of car guys, I think, have their cars parked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they're working on them.
So I'm going to tell you now,
projects.
like in this little town,
yeah,
I know of a whole bunch of super nice cars, and you will never see them. I don't know what it is. I mean, when I have a nice, cool car, I go out and
Go ride it. Go drive it. Yeah.
Almost break it every time I drive it. You know what I mean?
Put it to use, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to resurrect the biker, or not a fucking American choppers. They actually have talented dudes there building badass stuff, and I honestly haven't seen any episodes, but it just, from what my friends told me, it was pretty cheesy still.
Which one?
The new American chopper.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so apparently, I mean, they have painters that are on there fucking amazing. There's fabricators on there that are like legit dudes that do badass stuff, but that supposedly it still has that same kind of vibe.
Go to the people buying the bike and look at their business.
Yeah, something like that.
That's how they get paid.
Then, with I guess I was just on the drive up here, I was listening to the Richard Rawlings podcast he just did with Joe Rogan, because he's completely Discovery's not fucking with him anymore. He's not fucking with them. He says he has something coming out, but it sounded like he's looking for someone to pick him up to do something.
Yeah, I bet.
So I don't really know how that's going to go down. But he doesn't. He's. I've never met the guy.
Me neither.
But everybody in Dallas, growing up in the automotive world, I've worked with almost everybody that's been on that TV show in some form or fashion, in some shop over the years. And knowing them, they're all like, he's just hard to deal with. But I mean, fuck, man, like if I went from like being this guy I am now to having stupid money and being on TV, I don't know, man, I might start wearing bracelets too, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You never know till you're in the situation, and you have to deal with the world from a different perspective, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I
might do a few things. I don't know.
Give me a couple bracelets and go full Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with, like, we need something like that in the motorcycle industry to reignite it in young people,
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But it's like,
I feel like all the drama and stupid stuff that they put on is what
kills
ultimately also made it not succeed.
Yes, well,
it was goofy.
If you leave the cameras rolling, you will pick up some real shit. You might have to bleep a couple words out, but you'll pick up funny shit. Every shop with people that work there that are actually friends and they don't hate it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't even like each other, you're gonna get a good show.
Yeah.
A real obvious like shit talk. And I mean, think about it. Like, if you work somewhere where like everybody's kind of beefing, but they all get the projects done, it kind of works.
Yeah.
But every time, like, you come in the shop and drop off, I need this, and the camera stays there when you go out the door, and then he looks in here and goes, fuck that dude. You know what I mean? Like, that shit would be entertaining.
You could make it. The problem was with the bikes, I feel like they came in and tried to make a show.
Yeah.
Rather than let one happen, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I don't know if have you watched the Kindig ones, Cars? Mm-mm. It's pretty entertaining, I think, but they build top-notch, pretty damn nice cars.
For real.
And they have entertaining guys. They're kind of funny, but they're building cars. They're not doing stupid. I mean, they stop and do some things here and there that might not necessarily be regular.
Yeah.
But then they might be. It's like I don't know. It's not bad. Like, I think if they could do a bike show similar, it would do real well.
I probably need to watch some of these car shows to get a kind of understanding of.
I mean, there's some terrible ones, but
so like I used to watch Overhauling a lot too when I was growing up, and I like that. But then they'd always do that whole.
They still had the goofiness a little bit.
Let's steal this guy's car, and then I was like,
I like fast forward through that.
Yeah, the end reaction sometimes was awesome.
Yeah, that's fine.
But like all the lead up to it, I didn't care for it.
That's the people producing.
Yeah,
and I really believe that if they just showed more of the car build, same people watch that same show.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Whether they did the prank, or whatever. Whether they did that or not, if they would have just walked up, knocked on the door, hey, we're overhauling your car, they're still going to watch it.
Exactly. I think that shit was kind of getting. It was hard to watch that stuff, and then, fuck, man, everything. There's so many things. Even like when they redid the Biker Live, that was tough to watch.
They still, man, it's like
all my friends that were on there said it was like they kept trying to make them have some kind of issue, like not have their bike started.
They were hoping
yeah.
for it, yes.
You know, and then everybody that won already.
Yeah, they didn't
won.
like the super professional people. I know that. Like,
yeah.
They were considered boring. Things go too smooth. I mean, they would just tell us, like, yeah, you guys just go too smooth. Like,
but that wouldn't you want to show that? That would make.
Yeah, we wanted to be looked at like we were professional.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to look like a fucking
we were
shitty
prepared,
shot.
you know.
Yeah. That would hurt your business to look like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kathleen was saying, like, she's like, there were guys that were pouring beer in their bikes and shit and losing insurance, you know, because of that. You know, insurance companies were dropping them from their, you know, shit like that, you know.
Yeah, that can happen. It's on TV.
Everybody's seeing that, bro.
Yeah.
But no, what it really boils down to is what we were kind of saying earlier, where it's like we now kind of have to be our own TV show, you know, with like social media and shit like that. But it's like, yeah, we can probably post pictures and stuff like that, but to really capture it all, it's like we both can't afford to hire some dude to come follow us around all day with a camera. And I feel like my life's pretty cool until I pull the camera out, and then I don't think it's that cool anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when I'm out partying with the homies, I'm like, this is fun, but it's also I'm like fucking belligerent drunk, and everything's fun at that point in time. So it's like it's just a misperception, basically. Man, but no, what about like going through all that time, like and evolving into baggers, you know what I mean, and finding a way to still fabricate on baggers, because that was a thing.
Yeah, I remember we were still building the Customs, and I think it was before that big when the economy kind of
the 08 stuff.
Yeah, when that happened. Before that, we were kind of getting into doing a lot of wheels, you know, on the Daytona, all the shows we went to. You know, forever we sold wheels. And you never thought to buy a bunch of wheels and take them with you. That's stupid, right?
Yeah.
And people would always ask, you got those wheels with you? And we're like, no, you got to order those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, one time we were like, let's take a couple sets. I don't know what made us just do it. We took a couple sets, and I remember because it's terrible. We took a couple sets to Laughlin. You know, it's back when people were just putting 21s on baggers. I mean, very fresh. And so we took some to fit baggers. And, of course, we didn't take tire machines. I put them on my hands. You know what I mean? That's how we did it anyway. It's before we bought tire machines.
Yeah.
And normally I used Avons. Well, we bought a bunch of Metzlers. And we didn't want to mount them because some bikes take a skinnier tire than others. So we didn't mount them. And, man, those have harder sidewalls. And I was in there in the trailer jumping on these things, trying to get them mounted, sweating in that heat.
Yeah.
And we didn't have jacks, the correct jacks or lifts. I had a flip jack and 2x4s and stuff. Then you put them in and it not work or something.
Yeah.
But we sold every set and got them on. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, this could be something. And that's before anybody did that. People didn't take wheels.
Yeah, the wheel companies weren't out there doing that.
No,
either.
they were there set up to take orders. And we just decided, you know, we were working with some wheel companies, had some of our own designs. We were going to take some. And we had these machines doing all these parts for the Customs we built. We did like rake trees for choppers and open belt drives and stuff for the choppers, which how many choppers is there compared to a bagger out there?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean, we weren't really doing things correctly. I mean, as far as having 3 CNC machines in our shop. And it's like, well, we could, you know, make fork bells and floorboards and a couple things that match to go with the wheels we do. You know what I mean? So we started making those, but we started taking more wheels. We bought jacks, get a tire machine, build a frame so you can roll the tire machine out. I think I actually went a year just mounting them by hand and foot, but We ended up, moving on to a semi. Got a Peterbilt and a big stacker trailer so we could take up to 20 sets. Mm-hmm. Made a full display. We were selling 20 sets of wheels, and then we had our finned parts series. We were moving up, man. We had the points covers, derby covers, rear pegs, shifter pegs, brake pedals, and one of the things that we were first to do is the ignition switch cover.
I know. I had one of those back in the day.
Yeah, it's like, man, this key thing is stupid looking.
It's an eyesore.
Yeah, so I was like, let's make a little cover for it. And never did you think that it was a big deal. Mm-hmm. That was our first hot selling part. Was the ignition switch cover that sell hundreds of them.
And it was like a double-sided piece of tape on the inside.
It just sticks down. You never know.
Yeah, I remember because I bought two. I fucked up and bought an 08 and down one. Yeah, and I had a 12.
Well, when they come out, there was 08s. So but yeah, I remember because it was like 07, 08 when we had a decent amount of actual bagger parts, but we were selling them wheels, and then everybody started doing it. I mean, of course, the wheel companies started doing it.
Yeah.
Which
makes sense because those big semi spots at these rallies are thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they show up and they took orders. Mm-hmm. And even we did. People ask if you have them, you just kind of laugh. You think we got wheels on the truck? What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
And carry a bunch of wheels. You know what I mean?
What about the set out there on the display?
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ready to do it. Like,
yeah.
And everybody just kind of laugh at them, and then finally it's like, this ain't bad. You sit there and put wheels on all day.
See, that's what's weird to me thinking about that because, like, first off, my bank account's not like that. To make that kind of purchase on the
there's
wheel.
A lot of people that could swipe a credit card and get a set of wheels.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. My bank account and my credit isn't set up that way.
Yeah.
But no, I see that now with like.
We never thought of it.
Yeah,
we were there showing off our choppers originally.
Well, just going to the rallies in general, and you would see people there with all these parts set up, and I would even trip out when people are putting bars on. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not paying the premium for what it's going to cost to put bars on at a bike rally. It's got to be ridiculous. But then, like those dudes they probably don't ride as much. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I'm probably generalizing. But you're there on your bike at stock. You're around all these cool-ass bikes. You're trying to fucking make you're trying to be the cool guy in your group. It's like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm going to go swipe this card like you said and then come back tomorrow when my shit's decked out.
Well, also, they like getting the product from the people that make it.
Yeah.
And they feel good about having you put it on.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
I mean, I've installed several parts and I've actually helped design it and build these bikes in here. They like that I'm the one putting them on. You know what I mean? Same with the wheels. They figure wheels better than anybody.
What do y'all usually do now at the rallies? I mean, I know you got the bikes out there, but are you doing too many install type things these days?
It depends, man. There's sometimes we'll sell a ton of parts at a rally, and there's times we won't sell hardly any parts and sell bikes. Mm-hmm. So you really don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We try to take, a few of each part, so if somebody wants it, we'll have it. Mm-hmm. But we don't, fill the trailer completely up. Back in the day when we had the semi, I took 6 to 10 of every part we made, plus we'd take 10 to 20 sets of wheels. Mm-hmm. We'd take, when we started doing exhaust, we'd take at least 3 of each exhaust system. I mean,
feels like
there was one point I was doing legs.
Damn,
doing lower legs. I bring billet legs, chromed and black powder coated legs, shaved right side leg, or dual brake legs. You know what I mean? Lowering kits for the legs.
Yeah.
So when you got your wheels, we could go ahead and lower the front end, put chrome plated legs on,
have it done.
Put a lowering kit on the back. You roll out with a whole new bike. You know what I mean? Put all our billet pieces on there. That's where the House of Baggers kind of started. It was like, man, we got everything with the House of Baggers right here in one trailer. You could stop and we would take bikes, with a set of wheels and all of our parts on it, chrome legs, and leave the rest stock, and just put our logo on it.
That's a good.
And you could pull up, and we could do everything that bike had. Mm-hmm. We could do it.
I just never thought about it. Like really pushing the rally like that, like being able to do that.
Well, I mean, you gotta be able to house, feed, and whatever, pay 2 more people to come with you minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's
but you know, you already, when you break off and do that semi thing, you already got to have at least a person or 2, unless you're going to set the whole damn thing up, work it, and everything. So you're committed to having other people there. You might as well put them to work.
How does it feel going to these rallies, but it's always work?
That's just it.
It's the way it's always been.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
See, that's the thing. Like
everybody like, oh, you get to go all these places like it's a vacation. You know what I mean?
I just look at it because like this year we had rode by y'all's booth like 2 or 3 times, and it's like we're all sunburned and kind of buzzed and riding around acting a fool, and like y'all are just working.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes not bad, but then you got them times where you done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're like have a problem, or
yeah, it's fucking one of those days.
You know, something changing an engine in your booth or something.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah,
I mean, you never know.
Sometimes it happens. Apparently, like you guys are the go-to to fix every other bike shop's problem. We don't have to talk about those shops, but
yeah,
you know,
you got that. And we try not to, but you
but
never know. It's a potential customer right there. It always looks good when you can fix what someone else won't.
Yeah, man. That's one thing about it. Like I think a lot of shops probably struggle with that because you want to go out there and be a professional shop to sell and let your customers enjoy their time there, but you're there to facilitate the bike and the good times basically. But you want to be out there too, fucking getting drunk and ripping around. But I get it, man. I don't know. I'm too selfish with myself.
You take 1 or 2 more people, and you can take more time off.
Yeah. But then every time you're fucking halfway, you're on the other side of Black Hills, and you get a phone call like, Dave,
you got a problem.
Can you get back here quick?
Yeah, and the more bikes you got out there.
Yeah.
You know. And
what's crazy, I never thought about this. Like, you guys sell bikes there. That's wild. Like, I never, like I said, I guess all the people I deal with are so poor. No, they're not poor. It's just like, I just never dealt with it. Like, had a friend that's like, I think I'm going to ride this to Sturgis and then buy another bike while I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually like my bike blew up. I'm at the dealership. They talked me into some new bike type thing. But, you know, you're selling like $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 bikes out here. Like, it ain't nothing.
Yeah, sometimes.
Be like that sometimes.
But that's where you just got to be good. You know, and basically take care of people because most of the people we deal with are the same people.
Yeah. They keep coming back.
And then you get their friends or people they know, you know. So it's all about taking care of people, more or less. I mean.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it's what you're doing is you're there to make sure that all your customers' shits.
That is like it. We got guys. I mean, sometimes it sucks, but you get a customer, they come to you, want you to check the whole bike out there, make sure it's good. And they give you a few things that they want to make sure you look at, like check over my stereo, just look underneath it, look at all the suspensions, make sure it's all good because they don't trust no one else. Yeah. You know, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, you know, or they want you to, or something like the amp, say the amp's not working. Yeah. So you're overnighting an amp and switching it out, and you know, like you said, it'd be awesome to be out riding, but you're over there changing an amp, you know what I mean, or changing a tire, or
all that kind of stuff, chasing problems down that might, you know, like I said, I've heard all the stories from you guys every year, so it's to me, it's just I never thought about it like that, but. You know, one time someone told me this, or actually Gary, the Other Side Customs, where I used to work for him, he goes, I don't ever want to put my bike in bike shows and compete with my customers. Yeah. You know, and so I look at it like you guys are at Sturgis, you know, not the competing aspect, but you're there to make sure that all your customers are having the best time on the vessels that you guys created for them to do it on.
Yeah, they generally show them off for us. So
yeah,
I like to join them if I can here and there, and they like me to come with them to shows. Half the time I ride one of their bikes.
Yeah.
So, because any of them that's not theirs, I got for sale.
Exactly.
So, and any that I've ever taken, I usually sell. I don't have no more.
That's probably also the difference between a lot of shops that want to get on the Covington's level, but they don't understand those small sacrifices that you guys are making at these places where, you probably want to be the guy, getting whiskey poured in your mouth while your bike's shooting flames and doing a burnout. That's cool. But then there's this other shop right behind you watching, selling a whole bunch of shit, they're doing their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a weird place to be.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
and like I said, back in the day, it was nice when you could go ride around and hang out and go to the bike shows and show your bikes there or hang out with the people at the booths, but you don't sell as much doing it that way because we got guys that stop by the booth every year, see what's there. And before, it's like people would show up and look, but they'd try to come back at the end of the week to see if you'd deal more. They get it cheaper at the end of the rally.
Yeah.
And then when they come back and you ain't got nothing left, next year they're the first one there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So they can have the pick.
Exactly.
Because we have guys, they're just like, we're interested in these. We'll come back at the end of the week, see what's up or whatever. And then they call and like, I sold that one. Mm-hmm. Like, you got the other one? Yeah, we got the other one. And they call back, that one's gone now too. And like, don't sell the last one. We want that bike.
Yeah.
So because the year before, I think it was 2 years ago, I took a bike to sell. I sold it first day. And I think we sold everything we took. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, there was a guy that went there, and everything was kind of gone. And he showed up like 10 o'clock the very first day while we were still setting up and bought a bike. Because the one he liked, someone bought the first day, which was mine. And he ended up buying mine the second year. The first day, I didn't even ride it to lunch. Which works out for me.
It's good, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a different perspective of the motorcycle rally stuff. You know what I mean? That's kind of you see the other weird thing, like there's not as many like on Main Street, there's not as many bikes shops like what you guys are or the more custom guys there anymore. Now it's like it used to be like you would see Shope there and TOL and Black Label Baggers and fucking Ass Kicker and all these people, but now it's like Indian and this and that. It's just not the same anymore.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You got to be there to work. I mean,
but there's a lot of vacant spots now, though.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
You got to wait it out, I guess. But the people we deal with, if we weren't there, I don't know that they would keep coming around.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And then also a lot of times when you ain't showing up, people think you're gone. Which that's a lot of.
There's truth behind that though.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
they'll ask.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people ask me about other business that don't show up. They out of business, and you're like, I don't know. I haven't heard that, but
yeah, that fucking what was that one? Like as the big wheel bagger thing was at its height, you go to Main Street and it'd be like in Sturgis or whatever. It would just be everybody that's everybody right in there at the Iron Horse Saloon there or some shit where they would do like the Perowitz paint show a lot of times there.
Yeah, I think they've been.
It was like that little cul-de-sac right there. Everybody wanted to be right there, and it was cool, But man, it was. I don't know, man. It was just a weird place. That's cool. We can pause real quick. We need some more whiskey. I can't. When you drink unsweet tea now all the time, and you go drink a sweet tea, you're like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like it just like hits you in all those taste buds that don't work anymore.
Yeah, the best is half and half, but I just don't like even saying that. So.
You feel like a pussy when you do it?
half and half chance you're gonna get what you want usually.
Oh, there you go. Man, we talked about Sturgis too much. Fuck that place. It's so good there. It's fun. So how was, like, you know, when you guys were here and you started transitioning more into doing baggers and stuff, that a lot of your customers from the chopper world kind of evolved into the baggers, right?
Well, I tell you what, we actually did some pretty badass baggers during the chopper days that nobody's seen or paid attention to.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some of them guys that had baggers, you know, had choppers.
Yeah.
They had baggers at home like me. Like you
wanted that
it's
to be
boring,
nice,
you know.
Yeah.
Can we make it cool too? So, we can do what we can with it. You know, and then they didn't make a lot of parts. So we just shaved the fenders, you know, put flush mounted blinkers in the bags, stretched the front. We had one guy, like 6'5", stretched the frame, put a Patrick Racing all billet top in, polished the cases. And I remember because it was a what was it, 100th anniversary when those came out, or 105, or
What, the 105?
They had the little wings in the cases.
Fuck, I don't know. I know
It's 105
it was
or
08.
something.
08 was
08.
That was
I think it was 08.
Yeah.
Might have been what this was. But it stretched. No, I think it was earlier. I don't remember.
It would be 108. It would be 2008 or 2003, one or the other.
I think it was 2000.
2003 was.
Shit, I don't know. It's too long ago, man. I got pictures somewhere. But anyways, it was the old frame for sure.
Yeah.
We stretched the frame, billet engine, Baker 6-speed. I mean, that's high dollar for a bagger. And shaved all the dash off the tank, did pop-up gas caps. Flush mounted blinkers, shaved them, molded the whole frame. Yeah, they're pretty damn nice, you know.
That's a lot of work. That's a
flip out CD player with the screen.
Oh shit!
You know, with the Clarion speakers.
Clarion.
You know what I mean?
Must be shopping in Crutchfield, huh?
Man, we had hookups at Clarion from doing trucks.
Dude, I remember Clarion, dude. I haven't heard that in so long. I remember when MB Court was the shit.
No.
Oh, it was.
I wasn't a big stereo guy. I mean, we had hookups with Kicker and Clarion, basically.
Well, back in the car days, man, it's like it was like alcohol, right, in rap songs. Every once in a while, someone would rap about an alcohol, and then that was the hot drink to get, like, you know, Ciroc or Alizé or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, the same thing happened with, like, radio shit, with, like, stereo stuff. It would be like Rockford Fosgate had that amp that came out that looked cool back in the early 2000s, and everybody had to get that Rockford amp. And then it was, you know, the MB Quartz had the fucking three-way speakers, and that was the shit. And then Focal and you know, just down the line of shit, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, that area, that time, like, I remember too, a lot of the baggers that were getting built were, you know, I was actually talking with Jerry last night about it. I was like, I remember all the the second to none and the brother clubs that were doing these bikes up and making them look flashy and cool looking. You know what I mean? Like the road glides and stuff. And they would come to Dallas and they all have these, you know, colorful ass bikes with. At the time, they weren't doing the crazy apes they do now, where they like they're like 32-inch ape hangers.
I just did some of those on one not too long ago.
Dude, I used to. I know a lot of dudes that rock those bars, and I know their style is those bars up to their chest.
Yep.
But they rock a backrest, so they're like laid out like a lazy boy going down the highway.
I just did a whole bike.
For real?
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
You didn't post it.
Yeah,
you did post it.
It's on Instagram. It's black and gold. And silver.
I'm looking that up.
I'm pretty sure it's on there. It's got to be on there. I know I posted it. But yeah, I can't hardly ride it, man.
Yeah, dude.
I turn and hit myself in the chest.
Exactly. You gotta have swag.
You have no choice though, but to run everything through the handlebars with those.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to fucking cable that far out there.
No. But it's got the backrest, torque pack, lowers. You know, stereo in the lowers. It's really clean, though. It's really clean bike. Had 23.
So that was how big they were going back then? Was 23s?
Oh, back then?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You're talking about the one now.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one you're looking for. No, back then, it was 18s. front
18s.
and back. That's about as big as you're going to get. They weren't doing 21s on baggers back when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
They were cool, though. We did the one, even had a trailer on it, all match painted with air ride. You know, that's when you only did the rear air ride. You didn't do the front.
Dude, I'm not seeing it, bro.
But I even raked the necks back then.
Oh, for the even the 23s and stuff like that, or
No, they didn't
18s?
have 23s back then. They're 18s. Yeah, we do 5 degrees. Just rake them a little, change them
I
up.
don't see it, bro.
Man, I mean, there's not a lot of pictures of them. It's on there.
You probably put on a story.
It's been a minute.
Oh, it has been? Okay, because I was already at Sturgis and shit.
I think it was after Sturgis. Because it's already been back to be checked over and do a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What you know, as the bagger thing progressed and it ended up going where it did, you guys kind of always kept it in a rideable place. You know what I mean?
yeah, when it got, like I said, we were doing the billet parts, we were doing the wheels, and it just started blowing up. And we started doing it just looking for another thing to get into.
Yeah.
Because the choppers were slowing down. Mm-hmm. And we were already out doing wheels. And it was doing well, like better than anything else. Selling the wheels at one point was probably keeping us going to shows. Yeah. Honestly. And they just started, they started getting bigger. You know, they started doing the big wheels and painting them and buying more parts, and they're just getting cooler. I mean, which made perfect sense. You could ride them. Mm-hmm. You know, you could fix them up. You could make them fast. Yeah, you could do everything with them and ride them more. They're more comfortable. They are. Yeah. It made perfect sense, but you didn't really think about it before. I mean, honestly, we built some for people, but it was very rare. Yeah. I mean, we probably did a handful of them. Probably over the top, a little too much. Mm-hmm. Really, they were really cool. I mean, I guess not really compared to what we're doing now, but full painted frames, billet engines. Yeah, in the late 2000s, that was a lot. That was a lot of work for a bagger. It was a lot. There just wasn't a lot. You know, I never really thought of, and honestly, there were so many pieces I didn't like it when they come in when I was younger. I was like, God damn, I'd rather build 3 choppers than one of these. You know what I mean? Trust me. All these bags and then trying to mod Harley little thin tin fenders and So when I was painting and working on sport bikes and I evolved into Harleys was in 2011, right? And so that was like I evolved right into baggers. So I was already used to painting a lot of parts from a sport bike. So it didn't really bother me as much as if I went from getting $5,000 to $10,000 to paint a chopper, right? And then all of a sudden now I got to get $5,000 to paint a fucking 20-piece Road Glide. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't really have that experience like a lot of other shops did that were around longer than I was. But then once I started doing the Dynas though, man, like that shit made me not like doing baggers anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. If I was in there having to sand all of them multiple times like that, you know? And that's the thing is like when I first started painting, like I would try to do a lot of shit without clear coating it multiple times because you didn't want to have to sand it down again. The clear coat was expensive and it was time consuming. So it's like you would want to do all these graphics and try to do it all in one session and then clear coat it and be done. But then everything would sink back. It would look like shit. And, you know, you could feel everything and stuff. And so over time you learn like, oh, I have to do this multiple sessions. I have to clear it like 2 or 3 times to make it nice and pretty and smooth and shit. So can't find it, can you? I found pictures of it, but not the whole thing. There it is. I found it. Hold up. Boom. Oh, shit. There it is. I remember this paint job, too. Yeah. I actually remember seeing this bike. Yeah, no, I get it. And he's got the stock bags on it, too, huh? Just did air ride? It's special. Yeah, special bags. But we did a fender, a Top Shop fender that matched it. Yeah. 23 lowers. I mean, it don't look bad. I mean, the bars are wild, but that's the style. It's tough. I mean, when you're not used to that, it's different, man. Is he still able to use the backrest on it? Yeah, he puts the back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a backrest now. I think it was still getting covered before I took the put. I don't put them on, man. It's a pain in the ass getting on and off of it with that thing on there.
Dude, when you're a thick boy and you're trying to kick over with the backrest,
I just can't put my leg like over. I feel funny putting my leg over the seat like that.
When you do that, you have to do like that.
It's like the one-legged hop.
No, you got to do a Spartan kick, like fucking the movie 300, where you just fucking foot punts them in the chest. Man. That's how you get on those seats where you can't whip your leg over. You gotta hike it and then kick. It's a funny thing, dude. I have to do it all the time. 'Cause I'm short, you know what I mean? So I can't really get over these fucking bikes.
Yeah.
But so this year, though, you guys have been like pretty much building the most solid, well put together, rideable quality bikes in the big wheel bagger scene, then into the fat tire bagger scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if they consider what I'm doing really big wheel. I mean, I guess it is. But really,
well, so what would you say though? Because like I said, you're
I don't know. I mean, I guess the Fat 23 is kind of big, but that's as big as I'm doing here lately. I don't know.
Wouldn't you call it just like a fat tire?
It is kind of big, but
yeah,
fat tire, yeah.
Because I think it's a better name to describe that type of bike, even though it's still the element of a big wheel bagger in a lot of ways. It's just got the fat tire on it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm doing. I mean, mostly, I would say 98%. This fat tire right now. I've been sneaking in like we're actually doing right now. It's the 21.
Yeah.
Air ride. 18s, the fat 18s.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me.
That one out there looks so stubby.
It's so little.
Yeah.
And I'm liking the 23s and the 21s, the fat 23s and 21s. Mm-hmm. It's a real happy medium. I think it handles great, personally. I mean, I'm not out trying to outride everybody, but they handle great. They're smooth. They look good, proportioned well.
Yeah, the 23 does.
They look muscly, too.
The 23 has like that profile of a 26, which I think is the best size wheel. Yeah. Like if you're looking for that.
Well, back when people started doing the 18s, the fat 18s, I couldn't get into it at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they need to do like a fat 23. That's what that's what I was telling people. If they start doing that, I'll mess with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they did. They finally came out of the fat 23. I was like, it looks good.
It does.
And then now I like the fat 21 real well. Just because I can stub it up and like really tuck it.
Yeah, I think it all becomes like this acquired taste. Yeah. You know, like when you first see it, you don't get it.
Well, that you got to mess with it. Like if you just put the Fat 21 on with just the tree kit, it looks okay. It's not great. But if you'll cut the neck off and move it up so that the frame sits down and kick it out a degree or two and you're still, within an inch from the frame and it's tucked good and it handles real good and then it sits low, it's all about the stance. Because it handles good. I mean, it don't change the handling getting it lower. I mean, other than the fact you can't go off a curb.
Yeah, you can't do that. So when you built this year, you built Winton's Lowrider S, and that was like a very different direction for a build. But I've talked about it many times, and I think that bike, and also the thing too, it's like that build is probably one of the first ones of that style you've done, but as you do those, you'll start figuring out ways to be able to do more fabrication to that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, even this one, like, I still get people asking me because we talked about like getting that fairing in the right spot, and it's something that only certain people notice. But
ain't no fun just to bolt stuff right on.
Exactly. But that fairing, because of the way you modified the bracket and modified the fairing to fit everything, it sits so perfect on that bike that it makes it. And when you're looking at a profile of a bike, those are the kind of things that change it. Like, I don't know why this one fucking just speaks to me, and it's that simple change. But how did you like doing that one compared to the craziness of all these other bikes you do? Oh,
I really like it. I would do every kind of bike there was if I get paid for it.
Yeah.
There's some bikes. There's tons of bikes I still haven't got to build yet.
Yeah.
But I wished I could do more like that. Actually, I like it. Yeah. It's very comfortable to ride too. It's fun. I would actually like to do more of the performance baggers. I've been trying, man. I've been pushing. I've
Mm-hmm.
got people on the edge, but
it's gonna
just-
happen.
yeah.
I mean, I know.
And it's one of those deals where you want to just build one and then just put it out for sale,
Yeah,
but you just don't know. Because I know what I can sell.
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's hard to gamble on something when you know what you can sell.
Yeah, so like that you could build that bike and throw that 23 fat tire on there,
And I've
it's
thought
gonna
about
go.
that. I thought, well, we could do a performance bagger. If it don't sell, I'll bring it back, put a fat 23 on it, and I'll sell it
It'll
the
go
next round.
week. Yeah, that's fair.
I've thought of that.
I
But
think,
then again, you're like, hey, I just go ahead and put a 23 right now on there and just go ahead and sell it.
well, in the performance bagger scene, it's been coming up like so. Remember, we were texting back and forth a couple days ago, and because originally you said, "Hey, I'm doing a performance bagger. I need you to come up here and paint it." I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" And then I'm like sketching it out. I'm like, "Hey man, what kind of front fender's on this thing?" He goes, "It's a fat tire." I was like, "It's not a performance bagger." He goes, "But right now in our scene, like in the scene, like we've been doing a lot of shit talking on Facebook chat rooms because ape hangers are not allowed, in my opinion, on these type of bikes. Because
What do you consider ape hanger?
anything that's not a moto bar.
Okay.
So yeah, if you got a riser
Don't matter
set
if
up,
it's 10 inch or 16 inch.
ape hanger period, you're not in
gotcha.
my fucking club. That's the way
Gotcha.
I see. Because here's what's fucked up about performance baggers, right? The name, the verb or the verbiage of performance baggers means, dude, you got a 124 fucking ripper, 150 something horsepower badass bike over there that's laying out on air ride right now with the fucking fat 18 on it. Or is it 18 on that one?
That one is, yes.
That has all the aspects of it, but it's not a performance bagger, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
if you take a bike that has motor, even has Olin suspension, all that shit, and you just put a set of ape hangers on it, then you're kind of like the other 100,000 bikes that's been built that way over the years. Progressive shocks didn't just come out the last 2 years. They've been making shocks for a long time. You know, people have been doing 120Rs and big motors and brakes on their bikes forever.
True that.
So when this scene started, there had to be a couple things that weren't around that became the staple on this bike that separates it from all the bikes that's been around for the last 30 years.
I can see that.
And so, what I think is that like the performance bagger, like for sure, everybody that's gonna like that's used to buying one of these fat 23s because they do look really good. You know, regardless. I'm a lover of motorcycles. I'm very passionate about performance baggers, but I love all kinds of bikes.
Right.
They look fucking good, you know, and building a performance bagger is really difficult when you're used to certain things filling in gaps, you know, like a certain wheel size to help tie the bike together, a certain like stance of the bike to help give it the curb appeal. But it's only after you get that acquired taste that you start to like understand that I want my bike to lean over this far and not sit on a center stand, or I want to see my swing arm, or I want to see the brake caliper and rotor on the rear wheel. It takes a while to get accustomed to see that and think that it looks cool versus, you know, trust me, man, a nice little fucking center stand, a nice short set of bags, but just sitting just right. Like I used to tell people all the time, man, when they were doing that lay frame like 21s, not even fat tires, just a 21 lay frame, I was like, that's just pretty fucking gangster looking, dude.
Yeah.
Just come up there on a stock ass fucking full ultra.
Yeah, I remember first guy had me put full air ride on a bike with a 21. I was like, I ain't mad at that. That looks good.
Yeah, it's not bad looking.
At first, I was like, man, I don't know. You know, you're used to doing all these big wheels, and someone comes in with a 21. You put front rear air back when it was all kind of new.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Put it on. You're like, that's kind of cool.
It's got a nice little setup. Yeah.
It's all about stance. It's about how it looks overall when you're done.
Well, to me, it's like when I saw a couple. I think Joey Hensley did one at Backyard Baggers, and I was like,
remember that.
I was like, I liked it because at the same time was like kind of when everybody was going to find like barn find trucks.
Yeah.
And just laying them out with like looking basically stock on some stock like steel wheels and shit. I just thought that shit looked dope, man, and I dig it. But yeah, like going forward with the performance baggers, I mean everybody's like, when you guys finally do build one, like to spec, or at least with the
Getting closer.
Yeah. I mean, the bike that we're doing right now, it's a 21 is the size of the wheel.
It's a fat 18.
Oh, it's an 18.
They're both, it has front and back 18, but they carbon fiber.
I didn't know they made a fat 18 carbon fiber.
You just get the rear one for the front, man. Just
Oh,
get
is
the
that what
hub
they did?
done up for the front.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
it should work good though. It
Yeah.
should. I mean, it's not your stereotypical, but I think it's gonna be cool.
Dude,
Everything else,
is on
built
point.
engine, T-bars,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool.
Well, like DA built that recent bike too. That
I like that.
dude, I do too. And so that's why I get stuck. I get stuck as this purist, right? But I also get stuck with
Man.
like, I like cool bikes.
Me too.
And there are things about
I've
performance
been
baggers.
since I was a kid. I liked all my stuff dragging, my cars, my trucks.
Yeah.
Like even bikes. I've told people, hey, drag it, we'll fix it. You know what I mean?
That's
Let's go ride it.
Yeah, have fun.
It looks cool. If you drag it, you drag it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that's not always good. You out trying to carve stuff up. It's not always handy, but
Well, it was only eventually with all these fucking truck nerds out here lifting their trucks. Eventually, you start lifting bikes, and now that's what's going on with performance baggers.
well, it's all good. But I would have to have two.
Exactly, one of each. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have.
So
You got to have stuff that's slammed down.
see me when it comes to like trucks and cars. Like I am a low and slow kind of guy. Like I like that
That used
slammed,
to be all I did. I mean,
but like I can look at a lifted truck and be like, oh, that looks cool. I would never ever in my life buy it. I don't have a desire for that, but even I was telling you, like, because you had just got that new truck and shit. I was like, yeah, I'm getting a Tundra, dude, or a fucking 4Runner, and I'm not lifting it. I'm leaving it stock. The reason I like to leave cars stock is I want the cops to leave me the fuck alone.
well, you got to on a new truck. They always make the front lower than the back. And when you get a 4x4, that just don't make sense,
Doesn't look good.
in my opinion.
Yeah. They're forcing
You don't have a choice. You either got to level it or lift it. Or
That's
lower it.
or lower it.
One of the three.
You don't want to lower it.
But
4x4.
I need all year round, go wherever.
Yeah.
So
Well, y'all get snow and ice up here a lot more than
yeah, I mean,
you need. 4
honestly, I think I use 4x4 2 times a year, and without it, you just stay home. But I got low cars. I mean, I've got low cars.
The Impala, man. I haven't seen it yet.
It's in the shop at home. It's low.
Does it run?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like 18,000 miles on it.
Fuck, that's immaculate.
96.
You know what dude? I think we've had this conversation because it feels familiar with you, but the wagons, the old Impala wagons, or they were the Caprice wagons, right? And they would like turn all the stuff into like Impala trim.
Yeah, they've done that.
Oh,
yeah.
man, those things look so good.
Yeah. I had a 58 wagon for a little while.
A 58?
Yeah.
What do those look like?
It looks like the Impala.
The
like the one you
58
talked about
Impala?
earlier.
Uh-huh.
It's like
I didn't even know they had a wagon.
Yeah, it's a Brookwood.
Oh, okay.
But it's the Impala front end. I have one of them. It's all original patinaed paint. It's lowered with 18s and 20s.
Sounds cool as shit.
Just a turd. You could park outside, not worry about getting scratched, and the kids can jump around in. It's one of the only cars I bought online without seeing in person.
Was it a
Needless
bad
to
idea?
say, I had to do a little work,
Oh, man.
but
Being able to buy some online is that's flexing, dude. I need to see mine. I'm still I still have a hard time with hands-on. Like I like to hold it before I buy it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
that was the one time, and
Yeah.
well, actually 2 times, and I was surprised both. Believe it or not, I got El Camino online, and never did I see it had a sunroof in it. Until it showed up.
Oh shit!
And it was raining.
Wow, that's horrible. They didn't put sunroofs in those things.
No.
And so
It
they
was
always
like out of
leak.
an 80s van.
Oh, for real?
That's what it looked like, something you'd see in a 70s, 80s shagged out van.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I was out looking for an Impala or an El Camino roof.
Yeah. So this is what I think about like you guys and performance baggers. So the last 3 years of Sturgis, or 2 years for me because I missed the third year. The first of this 3 year I just said. Confusing. So the last 2 years I've been at Sturgis and running these baggers. I've noticed that every year it's been almost like completely doubled, if not tripled or quadrupled the amount of people riding this type of bike running around. The first year that me and my buddy went to Sturgis, you might see one set of T-bar moto style bars on a bagger. And then the next year, which was this year, it was like every time we went somewhere, we were seeing people on these bikes. And right now, I think it's like this infant phase, right, where everybody's still just doing, you know, a Hoffman front fender, a set of bars, maybe, you know, a 2-in-1, like a couple little easy bolt-on things, right? Because they're not expensive, those easy things. But then, you know, you get it gets expensive quickly for sure. Quick. But now I think that this year coming up, this Sturgis coming up, is going to be the year where a lot of real people are going to bring some real heavy hitters, or some. Not, I wouldn't say heavy hitters. I think this is going to be the year at Sturgis where people bring the bikes that are going to dictate the next 5 years in performance baggers. Meaning that they're going to, like, imagine, when did Shoke come out with that fucking white dirty money? It was like 2010 or some shit. There's a couple big old baggers that came out early that really helped just fucking slingshot the trend into the mainstream. And I think that this year, and the bikes that go to Sturgis in this form are going to be the ones where there's enough attention on it now that everybody's going to notice every little thing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that test the waters at Daytona, because Daytona right now is already shaping up to be a big performance bagger meet with a lot of like all the. I'm not going.
I will say that last year in Daytona is when I first seen an accumulation of more than one handful with bars and a pipe and a seat, because they started the class in the Yaffe baddest bagger.
Oh, they did? That's
so cool. I saw, you know, there's a row of 10 or 15, and it was kind of cool, I thought. Yeah. You know, something different. And there was a few in there that weren't just
black,
just some T-bars and a pipe. Like, they were actually really good looking, you know, and they nice paint, you know, and they're good looking.
I think that, you know, this year at Daytona, because a lot of my friends are they're renting a house. There's like just this whole big ass group of people going down there, and a lot of them have really done nice built bikes. Me, on the other hand, I'm gonna go to California and ride the coast that time. I'm just like, y'all go to Daytona, have fun there. I'm gonna go ride the other side of the country. I've already went to Florida twice this year. That's enough for the next year and a half.
Yeah, as far as riding, you know, I don't know if that's the finest place to be. I don't know.
Sturgis is the one. So like, I think that I was originally planning on ripping my bike all the way back down to the frame before like March, but I just don't have time to do it. So I think I'm gonna have to do some shit like I did this last year, and wait till like a week before Sturgis, and then rip my bike down to the frame and redo it. Cause you know, we got I'm gonna do California in March, and then we have our camp out. Which, if you ever want to party, man, you should come out.
Yeah,
you can bring a toy.
I need to get out.
There's not a lot of business being done there, but it's a lot of good times. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good. Like, I need to go to things.
Bring the old lady, man. She can party too. Does she party?
Yeah.
I've drank with y'all. I know she parties. But no, I mean, it's a good time down there. But then, of course, I think our big trip that me and my boys are going to take, we're going to go to Maine, and we're going to try to hit Laconia if it takes place this year, and then Sturgis. You know, and Sturgis this year, it's going to be a good one, I think. Hell, Sturgis was big this year, you know.
It was pretty good.
So
it was one of our best Sturgis.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Oh.
Sorry, listeners. We're half a bottle of Jack down. Some people said that they didn't like Jack Daniels. I've been pretty good with it. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good overall drink right there.
So I've been trying to do this whiskey thing for a while to try to like weed off the beer we were talking earlier about. Yeah. And because because I don't drink whiskey the same way I drink beer. Like if we were sitting here, I'd have a fucking 6-pack or a 12-pack sitting here already. And I'm on my second like full glass of Jack and Coke right now, and I dig it. Now what's also fun is like when you have all these friends that have all these whiskeys, and they're like, man, you got to try this, and they're like sending you bottles of the shit, and you're like, fuck yeah, I got like all these bottles of whiskey now. But at the same time, it's like good to try all the new shit because it's like. It's like if there's one type of beer, which I guess there is, like you'd have like an IPA, which who the fuck drinks that shit, and everybody sends you an IPA. Like, well, whiskey's kind of the same vibe. It's just like, different ones. But I think I'm a Jameson man is my whiskey of choice so far. But I do have a Jack Daniels. I do have. I told you I like the Jack Daniels honey a lot, just as like a straight drink. It's real sweet, but after the water or after the ice kind of waters it down just right.
Yeah,
it's fucking delicious.
You got to use that ice and water to pace yourself.
Yeah, wise man. So I fucked up and I kept telling my friends like, no, I'm drinking whiskey now because I don't get drunk as fast. And the last party we had at my house, I was drinking whiskey and beer the whole night, and I was having like, when you're drunk, you get into conversations with people and it goes on loop. You ever notice that? So you end up having the same conversation like 8 times in like 2 hours. Oh
man, if I hear repeats, I look around real quick. And I usually just walk off.
That's what I ended up doing. I've done podcasts like that where one of the first podcasts, it was like number 15. It was one of our biggest listened to podcasts and the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. 2 good friends of mine were on it with me, and I went and had like 3 tall. I told you about Pluckers, right? The wing bar.
I don't know.
So it's like a wing bar in Texas, but they sell like those 32 ounce. You can get 32 ounce beers.
Yeah.
So I was down in Austin, and I was with my buddy Mark from Texas Performance, and I had 2 of these 32 ounce beers, and then we stopped and got a 12-pack and went back to his shop, and then my other homeboy showed up. We sat in the shop, did a podcast. I'm already fucked up, and I'm cracking beers. I killed the whole 12-pack plus those 2 32 ounce beers, and I provided nothing to this podcast other than stupid shit, right? But then I would bring up something like, like, hey man, that bike you guys built last year was awesome, right? And then they talk about it, and then, man, that bike you built last year was really badass, right? And it's like, and so when I was, that's when I first realized that that's what you do when you're really fucked up, is that you start looping in that sense and stuff.
At one time, when you built that one bike, that was cool.
That one, right? There's no context. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
It reminds me of going to Daytona and Sturgis a lot.
Yeah. Do you guys get to party at all there? Like drink a lot, or is it more like at the house?
Every once in a while we go out and go to something, that we're invited to.
Yeah.
It can be fun, but as far as that goes, a lot of times just go to the house. We go somewhere to eat, then go to the house, and we just rent a house.
Yeah.
So all us and the guys like go out, patio, whatever, get the whiskey, the Cokes.
So we were at Winton's house this year.
Yeah.
This is the 2nd year I've gone there. And so he hit me up and says, hey, y'all come out. I was like, dude, I got like 15 dudes with me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'll bring them out. I'm like, all right. And then it was, I
was there.
How long did you leave before we did?
No.
All right, so you were there with us, because at one point I felt like it was just us and everybody that was staying at the house.
I think I was last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody that was staying at the house was asleep, and it was just like us and you out in the garage just talking and drinking.
Maybe Porum.
Yeah.
Or something.
I think he would. I don't think Porum was there this year.
Oh, no, it was someone else. One of them was still out.
Yeah.
It was like me and whoever was with me, and then your crew and someone else.
Yeah.
And y'all left, and I was like, well,
the party's gone.
Guess I'm going home.
Man, all the guys that went this year, except for like maybe 2 of them, had never been to Sturgis. And the best one was my buddy Jaden. He got a dragon tattoo on his chest.
Yes.
And so this is the story behind it. We get to the campsite. We're setting up. This old dude, I'd say old dude, he's probably like 55, long hair, walks up to us and goes, "Hey guys, I'm Lone Wolf." So Step Brothers pops into all of our heads. Yeah, seriously, this happened. So the movie Step Brothers pops into all our heads. So we start thinking of like really crazy biker names. And my crazy biker name is Bonesaw. So I walk him, "I'm Bonesaw, what's up?" And then so Jaden, out of nowhere, one of my close buddies goes, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Dragon." That same night, we go to downtown Sturgis on Main Street, and one of our buddies from Dallas is tattooing down there this weekend, and he's flipping through the book, and it has like this little green dragon that says Sturgis 2020 on it. So we all peer pressure, like, dude, like, you're Dragon, bro. You have to get this fucking tattoo now. There's no way you can leave here. So literally the last day before we left, he finally went and got the tattoo. This dude's like, he has one other tattoo of like a soccer club or some shit. He's a nerd like that. No tattoos, not sleeves, nothing like that. But he has this chest piece of a dragon. And it's not even, I'm not talking shit about my buddy, but it's not like a badass tattoo at all. It's like some shit you get at Sturgis drunk on the street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why not?
But then he changed his Instagram name to Call Me Dragon. We were in Florida, and there was a dragon on top of the school bus at this little campground we were staying at. And so we all told him, like, your name's Dragon. You have to go fuck that dragon on top of the school bus. And so there's pictures of him, like, humping this dragon on top of the school bus. And it's fucking awesome, man. It's biker stories, man. Fun times.
Stories.
So how do you think, man, this coming year, y'all got a lot of shit planned or what?
As of now, kind of the same old thing. I mean,
yeah, just
I got a pile of bikes and build them up, change them up a little, see what goes on, and try to push people to do some new stuff.
Yeah, how is that? How is it trying to push the new trends onto your customers?
It's a little tough. You know, they don't see what you see all the time. You know how that is with paint jobs. Because I've had complete bikes, man, that I'm like, dude, this could be huge. You know, if we built one of these, everybody would copy it. Yeah. Guarantee it. Start a new trend. Mm-hmm. You know, and I guess I should just do them myself, but it goes back to, well, I could build this and sell it right now. You know what I mean? Or I could build this, and I think I'll do really well with it. Yeah. But, you know, maybe not.
Yeah, the doubts come in.
And then you tell your customers, hey, man, you want to do this? What do you think about this or that? And hope maybe one of them is like, yeah, let's do that. You're like, hell yeah. Yeah. That don't always happen.
Even the other Softail that you guys built, the what was it, the Breakout?
Yeah, the Breakout.
That was cool too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something different. And you know, that was actually his idea, the guy's idea. But I've been wanting to do more Softail stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, and just do. I don't care. Like, I'll do anything different. Yeah. Like, let's something you kind of like. Let's make it cool. You know, and maybe it'll turn into something big. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't just do one, send it off somewhere, and expect it to blow up.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the only people going to see it's the one show you take it to. You know, we took that to
Sturgis.
Mm-hmm. Nobody else saw it after that.
Did he even ride it? Or
yeah, they went and rode. Like, he drug it and went out and burnt the tire up a little bit. And
that had a big motor done in it.
Yeah, it was fast. Like, it was stupid fast. It had a big turbo and a big built engine.
On a Softail.
Yeah, it was fast. Like, that little bike, it was a lot of power.
Yeah, man, I know what you mean, man. You want to push the trend, but it's lonely at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and not saying that from experience. Like, when I started doing the performance bagger thing, I was not even close to the first dude, but, you know, early adopter, but not close to the beginning. So there were still people that dug it. You know what I mean? But when you start doing something, you feel like you have to explain yourself to everybody, like, why you did it, and you're like, can you not see the cool in this? And then it's like I said, it's that acquired taste. It's like every year when the new Tahoe or the new Escalade comes out, nobody fucking likes it. They always talk shit. There's memes. There's blah, blah, blah. And then couple months goes by, they put a set of rims on it, and it's like, man, it looks good now.
Yeah.
Then you see a fucking angle that like is more appealing to you, a little 3/4 shot of the rear. Like, fuck, that looks dope.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of those deals. I think also maybe if you made all the parts right off the bat to build it, it would take off.
Because people could immediately buy
Because that's
it.
kind of what happened with the big wheel baggers. Like, people kind of liked them. They were growing. But as soon as they could call and order these parts and bolt them on,
Yeah.
they weren't huge. But as soon as that happened, they blew up.
No, well, think about it like this. Like, you
Where
were
people
talking.
made parts for the baggers to change them, like, big time.
Yeah. Think about it. Like, you were saying just earlier about how in 08 around you were doing this where you were molding the frame, stretching it a little bit to make this stuff work for this guy. But it was still probably 3 more years before it really turned
it
into
was
the
way more. I mean,
you know,
I don't think it was even 08. I think it was like 03 or something.
for real.
Like 100th anniversary.
Okay.
I'm not 100%, but it was a long time. Like those, I wasn't even thinking about baggers back then. We were doing choppers just stacked, but these were good customers that wanted their baggers fixed up. So, I mean, I hated them, honestly, back then. I was young.
Yeah.
And they
There's
were
a
a
lot of
pain in the
parts,
ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Well, that's what
you're
I'm.
just trying to get it done, so you keep it going down the road.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about, though. I'm thinking about how the fact that, like, and just from my own perspective of when I was around and what we were dealing with in the paint shops, I think the big wheel thing was like this solid staple where you can literally, everybody was running their business off big wheel baggers. You know what I mean? It's think about it, like,
it was a focus, something.
yeah,
to focus
it's like,
on.
you know, there was a point in time where in my shop I had 8 sets of big wheel bagger tins to paint. Right? There was no stock tins in here.
Yeah.
There was no other type of bike.
Yeah.
But there was still like a 3 or 4 year period between the first time I ever worked on a bike that was in that genre of big wheel or going that direction versus to this point where there was like nothing but this in my shop. And mind you, when that was 8 big wheel baggers in my shop, the scene wasn't done yet. It wasn't like washed up. It wasn't over, you know.
Right.
It was just the height of it, you know. And there still were 2 or 3 more years of that shit before it started hitting its decline with popularity and whatnot. So,
yeah, because, I mean, as of now, honestly, it's gone every bit as long as the billet chopper days.
exactly.
That was
And there's
big.
still people doing it, but like I said, with the fat tires, it kind of helped elongate those style of bikes and kind of what I think the fat tires are doing is it's kind of conditioning or making the other style that's kind of emerging more appealing because they're getting used to smaller wheels in there.
Yeah, and it's just like anything changing. You got people that's going to keep liking it.
Yeah.
And it's just more stuff. It's more selection, more options. You still got people that love those billet choppers. You still got
for
people
sure.
that love the bobbers, the
Well,
big wheels.
We were kind of talking about earlier with like the bike that DA just built and like the bike that you guys are building now. I like I like the fact that you guys both took performance bagger trends and applied them to another style of bike.
Yeah, it's all about mashing stuff up.
Yeah, and then you get something that looks cool as fuck, and I think that's going to be the palette for all these customers to start accepting whatever
Well,
else.
you know, also, you already got the guys doing the performance baggers. That's their gig. You know what I mean?
So I would say this. Yeah, we do have guys doing performance baggers, but there's only a few dudes that are doing performance baggers the way that I know some of the talent like yourself and the people in the industry could do performance baggers. I've said this a million times, even in the beginning days of it. Performance baggers we're looking at it from a very 2-dimensional plane, and I feel like guys in shops like yourself look at it in a 3-dimensional plane. You start creating things that we didn't see because you have ability to create whatever the fuck you want to create to make it look good or make it flow good or make it perform good and things like that. So I feel like, and not to downplay the people that are doing performance baggers now, but when you fabricate all day long, you don't look at a performance bagger and go, I want to bolt on all this shit.
Right.
You're like, I want to make this shit or make this shit work better. And then we get a new thing that we haven't got yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. True.
So that's where I think it's going to go.
Yeah. No, I do more. I've been pushing, man.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Winton's on our team. He's trying to push these guys.
Yeah, he wants one.
He does. He just
he likes the low life.
He does. Well, Winton, like, our industry needs guys like Winton. Winton's fucking. I have a couple customers. Winton's one of my customers, but I have a couple more guys like him that have faith in me to do things for them, like with paint work and stuff like that. And it allows me to kind of expand.
Yeah.
And try it, just like you, because I don't have the money to try everything on my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we need those guys, man. Like the bikes that you guys, some of the best baggers that you guys, in my opinion, have ever built have been Winton's bikes. You know, and you know they're fucking amazing. You know, art pieces. That honestly, if I ever walked in here and saw one of those sanded down like this other bike that's also badass, I would have an issue.
Yeah. Well, if he didn't build them so often, they would be sanded down pretty often.
Probably.
He started out by sanding them down.
Oh, he did?
And then after one or two of those, like,
well, as long as so the first one I think that really changed the game for me was the red and gold Street Glide.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then that one, and then
that was probably the first one though that he's like, hey, let's build something real nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking from a distance, it might look like a lot of other ones, but it had a lot of...
But when that came out, it wasn't like a lot of other ones.
Right.
You know
I mean, from a distance, it would, you know, had the big wheel, long bags.
It kind of had the panel paint job when panel paint jobs were starting to kind of become a thing.
Yeah, and then you had to kind of step up the panels.
Exactly. So the
you
panels...
couldn't just do a panel. It's like...
That's why, like, so that was my biggest drawback for ever getting into the panel paint game, is because it was, in theory, the panel is the easiest style paint job to ever do. That's why there's a billion painters out there doing panel paint jobs, because they're easy. They really are. But Loker did what I wanted to do, which is take a simple panel paint job and make it complicated, but still be a panel paint job.
Right.
And that's what he did with that bike. And he did it before with other bikes that you guys have done.
We've done plenty. I mean, I think the second bike Winton ever had from us was paneled in 2010 or 11. Candy, which nobody paneled baggers back then.
Yeah,
they
it wasn't
painting
a thing.
Skulls and crosses on them.
And I was fucking doing them all. I was Affliction. I never wore Affliction. I couldn't afford it. But I was doing every skull and crossbones and live fast sign they had on it.
And his was candy, flaked, paneled. But this one, it was, you know, basically it was Winton saying, hey, I want your best paint job. Is basically what he told Loker. He's like, do it. Just do the best paint. He goes, I want to roll that thing in and win the paint show.
Yeah. And so that was crazy too, because that was one of the first ones. I remember because I gave that one the best. I was one of the judges of the paint show in Galveston that year when it won that. And then in the stories that you guys told me about, he hated the orange bike that was the next year, which is still one of my favorite paint jobs of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That Loker did, and that was his. And it was like, I've always said this about Loker. Loker has the ability to paint a bike. He could leave a lot of empty space, and it still looks detailed and busy enough. It's like the right amount, right?
Yeah.
To where like some of us painters would probably look at that open space and go, "No, man, I'm nervous about leaving that alone." And his confidence, I guess, to do that ultimately results in these bikes that are just, you know, like. Dude, they're amazing all the time, and that's why I cringed when I saw that paint job. Even the one that was getting sanded down, it's put like this. I've had painters that have got their hands on some of my older jobs, and they actually had what was awesome is they called me and goes, "Hey man, so this customer of mine bought this bike. It was a paint job you did, and he wants to do a new paint job, and I don't want to paint this." do you want these tins? Do you have a set of tins you can trade me for it? I've had that happen a couple times. And just that respect, I was like, the tear, it's like coming out of my eye. I'm like, thank you, man. That really means a lot to me. But no, you can go ahead and paint that one.
No, it is hard, man, when you get a really cool paint job and somebody's like, yeah, I want that bike, but let's paint another color. And you're just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
This bike is badass just the way it sits. Like,
exactly.
I want this paint job, but it just ain't gonna work out to keep it. Like, that's the way this one was. I was just like, man,
that's tough.
If this bike had not been built the way it was built and have to be so I'd have had to rebuild so much of
stuff,
it, and then I'd have to build another bike to match all the parts. It just is not going to work out.
It almost felt like what you should have did was just built another bike and put all that engraving and all that crazy shit onto this. I get the conundrum. I get it. It's like no matter how you spin that, it's going to be a lot of work to make it continue to happen.
And either way, the guy paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, it was what it was, and now it's going to be what it's going to be.
It's just wild, man. But no, like those bikes, Winton's, even like the Overkill and Cha-Ching, those two bikes, in my opinion, are probably like when we look back in performance baggers in 20 or 30 years from now, those two bikes I think should be one of the top 10s of the representation of this bike scene that I want to be out there. Maybe Winton's bike was badass, but I really think Overkill was probably one of the first ones that really pushed a narrative. And then Cha-Ching happened after that, which was a badass bike. But Overkill was kind of like that one that was just like the perfection of it. You know what I mean? Because first off, Overkill was a 2013 Street Glide that turned into a 2014.
14 Street Glide we did into a Road Glide.
Because
they didn't make them.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you needed the new CAN bus to make all that shit work, right?
Well, yeah, you couldn't buy a Road Glide. Yeah. That's what we like to build generally. So we bought a 14 Street Glide. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, when we look back, just like we look back at like the billet chopper days and think about the ones that stood out, like that's what I'm thinking. It's like one of those two bikes needs to be on the list. Maybe I would give John Shope one of those because, like I said, one of his bikes. I tell you what, his timing was
on point.
On point.
Yeah.
Like, not only did he build some pretty wild stuff, but he made the parts so you could build it. And that, like,
helped.
Perfect timing. Like, he did
my first bike, I had a side. I mean, everybody had a side covers in the first early days, because they were he was the only ones making stretch side covers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before that, what was available for baggers?
Arlen Ness, glue-ons.
You had
Bad Dad.
You had you had like some glue-on pieces and a few bags that were 3.5, 4 inch stretch that looked like stock.
But see, like when he came out with his parts, he had the windshields, which changed the bikes dramatically. Like if you had a Road Glide and you got his like plastic windshield, it just like it screamed like custom, right? And then he had the stretch side covers. So my first bike I ever built like that had those two pieces on it. But I think I did Pickard's bags back in the day because they had Misfits, whoever it was back in the day. But then after that, I went to Black Label Baggers, their stuff. They had a long and low setup that looked good because everybody was doing 4 inch bags.
I stayed with the shorter bags as long as I could.
Yeah,
basically whatever had the best quality. Like I was bad about quality over the.
Yeah, I mean the quality was a weird one.
Fiberglass. Some of that fiberglass stuff was rough.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I know. The hard part was when you would do everything you knew to do to paint on fiberglass, and it would still sink back. And then people would say you're a shitty painter.
You're right.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, how come no one's saying he's a shitty part?
Right.
Or like I mean, not talking shit, but you paint a John Shope part, and then your shit would bubble off, and you're like, everybody's like, this dude doesn't know how to paint. I'm like, his plastic is bubbling in the sun, bro. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? They were like, you know, when they would form those plastics, there would be air pockets in there the size of, I mean, you could literally, like, some parts, like you get a tank side cover you're gluing onto a tank, like a stretch side cover. And this is, I'm not talking shit about his parts. It's just the way they're made. It's potential to have problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he wouldn't know. There's no way he could know that these had the problems because it was. You pull it out of the mold, it looks fine, or you touch it, all looks fine. But then you start sanding it, and next thing you know, you have an air pocket just under the layer of plastic that's a 1/4 inch deep and 2 inches long, and it doesn't give until you already have paint on it, and you're already onto the graphic layer,
Right.
and you're like, "Fuck me."
Well, luckily I didn't have too many of those problems.
I had a few of them.
I mean, I used a lot of the bags, but I didn't ever use gas tanks. I made everything out of metal for the longest time.
Yeah.
I still do. I mean, as far as gas
Y'all
tanks.
always made the tanks, and you made a lot of the chin spoolers as well.
Right, yeah. I tried to keep steel everywhere that there's steel from the factory. But I always used the bags. And, you know, there was different brands that you put them out in the sun.
Yeah.
After they're painted and everything, and the lines start coming in where they put them together. Mm-hmm. Or you even get a crack where they're put together.
That they started doing that when they were putting the two halves of the bags together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And on the back of the bag, because that's where the most sun would hit it.
Yeah.
That's where it would bake. And so they ended up moving the seam to the inside of the bag.
Well, it's everybody learning, I guess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it costs some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's what happens, you know.
I mean, I've taken brand new paint jobs after a month and have to go back, grind them,
down,
put a little fiberglass in there, smooth them up, repaint them for people.
Yep, I did it too.
What are you gonna do?
It just sucks because you can't, you know, like, we all grew up in that culture. We just fixed it. We just dealt with it.
Yeah, you got to.
But nowadays, it's like, that shit wouldn't fly now. People, they'd be on Yelp saying, like, this company sucks, blah, blah, blah. I had to bought these parts. You really, in this day and age, and these customers these days, and the kind of the avenues they have to bitch about things, like, you cannot do shit like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ain't happening.
100% there.
All right, man. We need to start wrapping this up. We're both getting drunk, and we got to drive home.
Yeah.
Man, it's cool, man. I'm glad that we finally got to do this, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody's like, a lot of my friends are like, man, we need to hear Dave on here. I'm like,
yeah.
People want to hear you. They don't get to hear you that much. You're a listener, not so much of a talker.
Right.
Talker. That's whiskey. That's what it sounds like when you say talk. When you.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep to myself. But.
That's how it needs to be.
Yeah.
All right, man. Cool. Well, Dave, thank you. They can follow you at what's your Instagram? I was just looking at it.
Covington Custom Dave.
There you go. And you can see this awesome bagger with them get back fucking bars that you put out there not too long ago. Oh, yeah, man. Cool.
In case you want to do that 3-inch wheelie.
3-inch wheelie. I could do a 3-inch wheelie.
With those bars?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I could do that.
All right.
Take those bars and like go carve canyons with them. That's what I want to see. Just like a dude just leaned over.
I'm going to watch you back out the driveway with them.
Yeah. Fucking like.
Man, they're different.
It's different, dude. It really is. But it's.
Makes you want to tilt them all forward.
That's how I would think. Like, you know, because I used to run those crush tubes on my bikes too. Yeah. But we would put them forward so that it kind of had that kind of Vikla style.
Those motherfuckers are bent, though.
We would do 14s. Right, so they had a small bend. They didn't go as far back.
I remember those. They're not the same.
And well, it's the same brand that's making them because I used to sell the shit out of them.
It might be the same brand, but it ain't the same. These things are sitting over the seat.
It's like the fork just keeps going to your face. It just comes out and it just keeps going.
You know what it reminds me of is when you see them old Schwinn's, and they got the 8 hangers pulled back.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Like a girl's Schwinn.
There you go. Yeah, I can't imagine riding that, but I think it's comfortable. They got it dialed in.
It wasn't bad going down the road, I'll admit.
Yeah, but you also
backing out the damn driveway was not cool.
Well, you know,
turn, slap yourself in the chest.
Just can't get it over yourself.
And you got a backrest, you can't move out the way.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Thanks for the whiskey. It's kicking. Hey, what's up, guys? I want to thank you for checking out this podcast with Dave Covington. And I want to thank the Covington family for having me out to paint these bikes and record their experiences on these podcasts. Also, want to thank you guys for checking out this podcast. If you want to support it, you know you can go to our website, fastlifegarage.com, and on the front page, there is a link to our Patreon where you can donate $1, $5, $10, whatever you feel comfortable with. It basically drafts it from your account once a month, and it helps put money into this podcast to keep us rolling around the country and making more episodes. Also, we are still working on exclusive content that is on the Patreon only. There are a couple episodes out, and I got a couple more coming. So be patient with that. It's been a rough holiday season. I got so many things to say, but I can't say it on the podcast. But anyway, it was rough holidays for me. That's over with, and I'm moving past that. A lot of big changes happen here at the Fast Life Garage, and we're getting things dialed in for this 2021 year. Looking forward to doing a lot of cool shit. We got the Polar Ride coming up in February that's kind of been put on by the Arkansas guys, so really stoked that those guys finally have a bike scene up there. Low blow. And, they're trying to do some cool shit, and we're going to support it and be out there. They think that they ride harder than us Texans, and we're going to put them to the test. So, kind of a joke considering it's all from the South, right? A Polar Ride, and it's like below Interstate 40, where it really doesn't even get cold. But anyway, it's cold for us, I guess. Anyway, going to be a good time. Hopefully, you guys can come out if you're interested. Just, reach out to somebody, and you'll probably get some answers. I know it's vague. My bad. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back again. We have the Mouse and the Moto with Moose Craft on the podcast. They'll be dropping on Thursday. And hopefully we'll see you guys at the anniversary party this weekend. If not, we'll catch you on the next episode. And you guys have a good first week of January 2021. All right.